away. The atmosphere more vibrant than what we saw at Vicarage Road on Tuesday. Norwich in yellow and green already have possession and are already on the attack, going from right to left as we look at it. Sinat's trying a reverse pass, it's been cut out. Here's Nunez, preferred to Jacob Wright in midfield today. Rolls it on to Marcondes. Portsmouth in their usual navy blue shirts, white shorts and red socks. Norwich defending the goal away to our right in this first half. That's where the best part of 2,000 Norwich fans are watching from. They sold out the away end yesterday. Here's Diallo in possession for the first time and immediately closed down by Jordan Williams. Even though he was much closer to his own goal than the Portsmouth goal, Williams was right up against him straight away there, trying to make sure that there was no escape. For the lively Senegalese winger, who picked up 2 assists on his debut in the first half against Watford on Tuesday. 0-0 in the early skirmishes here at Fratton Park. Cordoba hooks one forward. Sargent will chase it forward, but with John Swift in midfield, Portsmouth will clear, but it's loose in midfield. Murphy puts one over the top of the Norwich defence. Bishop chases it down against Harry Darling, leaves Darling in a heap on the floor, heads it on to Lang, who gets away on the right-hand side. Toppage comes across to meet him. Toppage covering in that area of the pitch at the moment, and when Lang crosses, Cordoba blocks it, and behind it goes. We saw Millwall exploit that left-back position against Norwich. Portsmouth tried it there, and how quick was Toppage to get along to try and cover it? That was interesting.
Yeah, it's evidence that, you know, he's going to drop in a little bit deeper to try and protect the back three, but it was a horrible ball for Harry Darling to deal with. It's bounced and he's waiting for it to come down, and the centre forward's got play on it, a nick on it, and it's gone out for a corner for Portsmouth.
First corner of the game. The Pompey chimes ring out. Dazelle plays the corner in from the right-hand side. Sargent heads clear. Williams heads it back towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Sargent heads clear again. He's headed up towards Diallo on halfway. Diallo again tightly marked, this time by Segacic. Couldn't escape from him, and the ball's gone out of play for a Portsmouth throw in on this right-hand side, just down below us. Portsmouth stayed up comfortably last season in the end, newly promoted. Built on their home form. I know I've mentioned the 5 they got at Carrow Road, but a huge percentage of their points came out Fratton Park, this wonderful old ground full of character. Seen quite a few stories, hasn't it, with Portsmouth winning the FA Cup in 2008, and then financial crisis going all the way down to League 2. Last season was their first year back at Championship level since 2012, and at Fratton Park they certainly rose to the occasion. Here's Kvachovic, the Norwich goalkeeper. Liam Manning certainly knows how difficult it is to come here. His Bristol City side was swept to the side 3-0 here last season, but were able to beat Portsmouth 3-0 at Ashton Gate just a few weeks later. Norwich in possession, deep inside their own half with Mirko Topic. It goes to Darling. The left-footed plays the ball up towards Sargent. Sargent tries to control, but Regan Poole gets the better of it, and Portsmouth have possession back. And as you can hear, every Portsmouth touch being applauded, but that's a loose one. Now to play for a Norwich throw. How do you get to grips with an away venue like this, Jay, where it's so tight, the fans are right on top of you?
Well, I think you just have to get some good possession early on and try and calm the crowd down, and you can feel the energy sort of sap out of them. So at the moment, Norwich are keeping possession reasonably well. When the opportunity to go forward is there, they're playing forward. So hopefully, if they can get an early goal, they can quiet this Fratton Park crowd down.
Yeah, Harry Darling was just tested a moment ago. He was in the Swansea team that lost 4-0 here on New Year's Day. So they know that this is not a Norwich City team short on experience. A few new names in the Championship, of course, but that's a great kick forward there from the goalkeeper Schmidt. Thought he could release Williams on the right-hand side. He's just got a little bit too much on it, and it's bounced away for a throw-in. But even though Josh Murphy's fit and playing on the left-hand side, the early indications are here, Che, that it is Norwich's left-back position that's being targeted.
Well, they've obviously watched Norwich City, and they've probably read the reports of Tuesday's game against Watford and know that Diallo is going to play a little bit higher up. Straight away, you've seen the fullback from Portsmouth get really, really tight to Diallo, so he cannot get a run at him.
Back pass there for Schmidt, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, to come and clear. Launches it up the field. Murphy tries to get underneath it. Medic intelligently heads it towards the right-hand side. Stacy on halfway, puts it into the channel on the right wing. Sinat's trying to get there against Shotnessy, who makes the challenge, and then it goes for a throw into Norwich, level with the Portsmouth penalty area. This back three that Norwich play, one of the criticisms is that it does leave you vulnerable in the wide areas.
That's right. I mean, I think Liam Manning would have done a lot of work with Korboda and Medic with regards to marking on the outside, because obviously the space is in the channel, so if they mark on the outside, which is a little bit abnormal for a centre-half, but that's what you do to try and block that passing lane up from Portsmouth. Nunez
is bundled over. Norwich get a free kick over on the right-hand side, much to the frustration of John Massinho. Already Liam Manning is deep in conversation with members of his coaching staff down below us. Dark green training kit, black trousers, Liam Manning. Trying to get his first league win, his first league points indeed as Norwich City head coach today. This being the second match of the season, in league terms at least. 0-0, we've been playing for 5 minutes, and it's a free kick to Norwich on the right-hand side. Nunez with an opportunity to try and put the ball into the penalty area. There's the delivery, curling into the box, header into the net there, Norwich have scored! Free header, that was so easy from Harry Darling. It's his first goal for Norwich City. Nunez floats it into the penalty area. Darling rose unchallenged and just nodded it past the goalkeeper, who didn't move. It's a great start for Norwich City, and it's Portsmouth 0, Norwich 1.
Well, it was a fantastic header from Harry Darling, great ball into the area, and the Portsmouth defenders sort of looked at each other. I don't think anybody took responsibility, and Darling's just put the ball in the bottom corner, and that's exactly what Norwich City needed, an early goal, quieten this crowd down, and hopefully go and get some more.
It's almost slow motion, wasn't it? The Portsmouth keeper didn't move, none of the Portsmouth defenders moved, and Darling was just able to plant his header into the bottom corner of the net.
Well, I looked straight over at the linesman to see if he'd put his flag up, but he kept it down, and I thought, well, maybe they were trying to play offside, but they obviously got it wrong, and 1-0 Norwich City.
Well, that's a great weapon that Norwich have got this season. I almost made the point, but the free kick was taken before I could say it. They've got a lot more 6-foot-plus players in the squad this season. They look a lot more of a presence when they go forward for set pieces. Harry Darling is one of them. He's got his first Norwich goal, and I think that could be a good area for Norwich this season, because Darling, when he was playing for MK Dons, he once got 10 goals in a season from playing at centre-back, and you just saw it there. It was effortless, wasn't it, as he rose and headed the ball into the net. Norwich 1 up.
It was. I mean, he had to get his timing right. I mean, he didn't really have an aerial challenge on him physically, but he got his timing right, and he's put it into the bottom corner, so great finish from Harry Darling.
Norwich with the perfect start there. Great free kick from Nunez as well. Preferred in the starting line-up to Jacob Wright. Put the quality into the box, and Darling rises to head it in. It's a poor kick out from Schmidt, the goalkeeper. Norwich win again. See, that's the Sargent. Keeper blocks with his legs there, and Sargent claps his hands together in frustration. A glorious chance, the sort you would expect Sargent to dispatch. That probably should have been 2-0.
It probably should have been. He'll be a bit disappointed with his finish. The goalkeeper's done well, to be fair to him, but it's a player of Josh Sargent's quality. You expect him to stick it in the net.
I think he expected him to stick it in the net as well. His reaction afterwards said it all. Like a cricketer who just dropped a catch. But it was putting his hands together. Now Portsmouth have got Murphy involved for the first time. Left wing, this is where he's dangerous, and he gets the cross in, and it's deflected behind off Stacy. Now we're just seeing the importance of set pieces, because Norwich have scored from one. Now they've got to defend.
Well, hopefully with the attacking threat, that Norwich City now bring with the physicality and the size that they've got in the side, that they should be able to defend these a little bit better than what they did last year.
Corner, left-hand side for Portsmouth, who are 1-0 down with an early header from Harry Darling. Josh Murphy, back from injury for this one, whips the corner in, curling towards the far post. Ogilvy's up, Marcondes challenges him, it bounces on the edge of the Norwich box. Lang just strong there to get the ball away from Diallo. Norwich have at least forced Portsmouth back towards the halfway line with Williams, who just puts an up and under towards the right-hand side, and Lang expertly controls it, takes on Marcondes, who has a swipe at it and wins the ball. Good defending from Marcondes. Starting a league game, in fact playing a league game for the first time this season. Kvachovic, the goalkeeper, passes it out to Norwich goalscorer Darling. And now here is Cordoba, who's tackled there by Lang, but the rebound falls kindly for Darling. Cordoba can have another go at clearing from left back, much more distance on it this time. Diallo chases it, putting the defender Poole under pressure, and all Poole can do is hook it up and out of play and into the stands. Just the looming presence of Papa Amadou Diallo there was enough to force the Portsmouth defender to clear. Well,
it's interesting so far. Norwich City haven't been afraid of going a little bit longer, and sometimes you've got to put the ball into the sort of defensive Portsmouth third, and even if you're not going to win the ball back, at least put pressure on the defenders to go and win a throw-in like Norwich City have done up in the final third.
It's one of the big differences in the styles of play this season. You noticed it already. Norwich they don't just play out from the back quite as often as they were. You do see these more direct balls.
Well, you have to mix it up. If it's always short, the opposition get excited and can go and press the ball high up the pitch. If you go in behind, they've still got that element of doubt all the time that, this might go over my head. So they go a little bit deeper, and that creates a space for you to play in front of them.
Norwich 1-0 up at Portsmouth. Harry Darling, summer signing from Swansea, heading in, and Nunez free kick. Schmidt, the goalkeeper, I haven't seen it again, but I don't think he even moved, did he? The goalkeeper just watched it nestle in the bottom corner of the net.
No, I think it's past him before he could even react, to be honest.
Ogilvie on the left-hand side for Portsmouth. Murphy threatening to get in behind Jack Stacy here. Stacy recovers well, blocks the cross, it loops up in the air, Medic heads clear. Nunez completes the clearance, but it's back with the shaven-headed Conor Ogilvie on the left-hand side. Now Portsmouth getting Josh Murphy involved in the game. In a central position here in the midfield is John Swift. Back out to the left-hand side, and Murphy, who will curl the cross into the Norwich penalty area, headed away well by Medic. Diallo having to do some defending here, and down goes Lang, but very, very softly, wanting a free kick against Diallo. It's not been given. Diallo goes and collects the ball, plays it to Cordoba. Norwich are still deep inside their own half here, but Stoppage has got the pass away to Sienats. Heavy touch from Sienats allows Portsmouth to steal it back, but it's a poor pass from Ogilvie to Murphy, and had a play for a throw-in. Callum Lang there, he's now screaming at the assistant referee, but it went down so easily.
It was very soft. There's no way a free kick, and Diallo's just put his body in, to be honest, and it almost Lang lost his footing, went over and was expecting a free kick, but it was never a free kick.
We talked about Portsmouth's incredible home form last season. One of their great results was a 4-1 win over Coventry. Of course, Coventry ended up in the playoffs. Callum Lang got all 4 in that game. As Sargent tussles with Ogilvie on halfway, and the free kick goes Portsmouth's way. John Massinio, the Portsmouth manager, is really frustrated with the assistant. He feels they should have had a free kick. I think, to be honest, he's probably more frustrated with the manner of the goal that they've let in. Norwich are leading thanks to a free header from a set piece, and those are the goals that really irk managers, aren't they? Yeah,
they're those little details that, you know, to concede sloppy goals, especially so early in the game, he'll be really, really disappointed with. So I think with the free kick down in the corner that wasn't, I think he's clutching at straws, really.
Well, Josh Murphy's just lost possession on halfway. Mirko Topic gets it for Norwich City, finds Jack Stacy. He's with Topic once more. He's in the middle of the pitch, closed down. Gives it to the fair-haired defender Harry Darling. Darling's given the ball away though, rather clumsily, straight to Colby Bishop, who brings it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Lang to the right of goal, crosses, blocked by Cordoba. And this time Portsmouth will settle for a corner. Norwich leading 1-0, but there's a really sloppy spell of play there from both teams.
It was. Harry Darling was expecting Marcelino Nunez just to drop a little bit deeper to receive the ball. They weren't quite on the same wavelength, and Portsmouth have stolen it and created a chance for a corner now, which is a problem for Norwich.
Yeah, don't want to give away too many of these. Play up Pompey again is the cry around Fratton Park, and they need to because they're a goal down. Andre Dazelle, the former Ipswich man, will take this corner with the left foot from the right-hand side to try and put Kvachovic under pressure. The corner's gone short. Murphy now plays it further across. There's a chance at the far post. What a save from Kvachovic. Regan Poole got around the back, and he was only about 4 yards out, got the shot at goal, and Kvachovic, perfectly positioned, smothered it on the line. That's a brilliant bit of goalkeeping from Norwich's new number 1. And on the counter-attack, Norwich have now got it up towards the edge of the penalty area, and Dazelle is there to hook it away before Sienats could strike. That's a brilliant save from Vladan Kvachovic.
It was a wonderful save. I mean, he's had to just throw himself at it, and that's what goalkeepers have to do sometimes. You know, it's instinctive. Throw yourself at it. It hits him, and he keeps it as 1-0.
Yeah. Good set piece actually from Portsmouth. Everyone was expecting the ball into the box. They went short to Murphy, and then Murphy curled it towards the far post. Regan Poole came round the back. He's only got 1 goal since September 2023, Regan Poole, and of course that was against Norwich in the 5-3 back on Good Friday, and he wasn't far away there. Now this might be a new weapon for Norwich. Harry Darling has gone over to take a throw-in from level with the Portsmouth penalty area, and there's not a Norwich player within 15 yards, so are we going to see a long throw-in from Harry Darling? Sort of want him on the end of these, don't you? We've seen his set-piece prowess already, but let's see.
It's obviously a weapon Harry Darling has. So.
In it comes, Cordoba heads it on, there's a chance inside the 6-yard box, Sargent's there and he scored! Norwich are 2-0 up! Another set-piece goal. The Harry Darling long throw-in caused chaos. It was headed into the 6-yard box, and Sargent was there to make it 3 goals in 3 games at the start of the season. It's a storming start on the south coast for Norwich City, and it's Portsmouth 0, Norwich 2.
It just goes to show how important that first touch is, and the save from Kvachovic a minute ago, there was a slight flick on which took the defenders away from the ball, which created the chance at the back post. The goalkeeper saved it, gone up the other end. The first header was so important. I'm not sure who's flicked it on at the front post area from the long throw. It's come through onto the edge of the 6-yard box, and the ball's ended up in the back of the net. So it just goes to show how important that save was a few seconds ago.
How important Vladan Kvacovic's save was, and how important set pieces are. Norwich have had a free kick. They haven't had a corner yet. They've had a free kick from Nunez, which has led to a goal, and then a long throw in from Harry Darling. That's the first time we've seen him do that. and it caused, for some reason, long throw-ins always seem to cause chaos in penalty areas, and I think if Sargent hadn't got there, I think Medic was there as well, wasn't he? So even if Sargent hadn't scored, I think Norwich would have done.
That's right. I mean, sometimes when long throw-ins come in, it's very, very difficult to deal with because sometimes there's no pace on the ball. So even if you win it as a defender, you're not going to get great distance and great purchase on it. So it causes confusion, and if you get the first knock, then it causes real problems.
And Sargent almost had to beat Medic to the ball, didn't he? There was more of a challenge from Medic than there was the Portsmouth defence. They were lining up at the far post to head it in. Sargent's there. I don't need to make the point about Sargent's importance to Norwich City, but that's 3 goals in 3 games. This is Josh Sargent's 100th appearance at this level, his 100th championship appearance, and that is his 46th goal. And when you consider that in a lot of those games he's been having his minutes managed because of injury, and the first season, a lot of that time he was second fiddle to Teemu Pukki. He had to play wide for quite a bit of that season. 46 goals in 100 games at this level.
That's a fantastic record, and you know, not just the goal scoring record, he gives you so much more than that. It's not just a goal scorer, he holds the ball up and he leads by example, and it's such an important player for Norwich.
2-0 to Norwich, what a start. 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes. Ball's back with Schmidt, Portsmouth goalkeeper. Lays it out here to John Swift, very experienced championship operator Swift, released by West Brom at the end of last season. Played for Reading at this level for a long time as well. Now the sting has been taken out of the atmosphere. Che Wilson said the great thing to do at Fratton Park is to get an early goal. Well, the only thing better than that is to get 2 of them, and that's what Norwich have done. Through Darling and Sargent, they're 2-0 up. Here's Regan Poole at the back for Pompey. Plays it to goalkeeper Schmidt, who has also made a decent save from Sargent as well. Let's not forget, difficult one for Medic to head clear there for Norwich City, backpedaling. The pass has gone astray from Portsmouth, and they're getting a bit frustrated around us, the Pompey faithful. Sargent with a heavy pass back towards his back line though. Cordoba plays it to Kvachovic, he'll play it up towards halfway. Well, Gazelle all over the back of Marcondes there, it's a clear free kick. You were reminding me, Che, you were telling me that when Andre Gazelle was coming through the ranks at Ipswich Town, Liam Manning would have been one of his coaches.
That's right. I mean, I did a very short stint of coaching down at Ipswich, and Andre was, I think he was under 12 at the time, and I was looking after the under 13s, and Liam Manning was obviously around, so they'll know each other very, very well.
And forgiving Che Wilson's brief Ipswich connection, same as we have with Liam Manning. Ball forward from Harry Darling, through it goes to the goalkeeper Schmidt. Well, if Liam Manning can get this sort of performance on the road from Norwich City, then no one will mention those Ipswich connections again. 2-0 up.
So far, you know, today, I mean, Portsmouth, I don't think they're the sort of club that, I don't want to do them a disservice, that are going to outplay Norwich City. But it's those details and set pieces and things like that that are going to potentially get good results for Portsmouth. And so far, Norwich have been able to nullify that and take advantage at the other end.
Here's Stoppage battling away in midfield for Norwich City and finding Marcondes. A no-look pass to Diallo. Diallo sprinting forward on the left-hand side for the first time. He's level with the Portsmouth penalty area. Gets tackled by Jordan Williams. It was a good run from Diallo, very direct, but never quite had the room to actually do anything with the ball. Norwich have been 2-0 up here with Diallo not doing much in an attacking sense. Ball forward from Portsmouth. Kvachovic comes outside his penalty area with Murphy bearing down on him and chests the ball away, the goalkeeper, and it's cleared. And you can see Norwich players now pointing at each other and telling everyone to calm down. Norwich are 2-0 up. They need to go under a bit more control than this.
Well, this is the danger. You go 2-0 up quite early in a game, and you still need to stick to your principles, and you know, you still want your win backs to go and add to the game positively. You don't want to drop in and play a back 5, because then the opposition will have so much possession and it can cause you problems. So it's really important that they stick to their game plan, almost play the game as if it's 0-0.
Williams, the defender, plays it back to Schmidt, 6'5" goalkeeper, the Austrian. His clearance is returned by Norwich. Ball's in the air. Nunez decides he's had enough of that, brings it down, plays it to the chest of Sargent, who lays it off to Sargent. Sargent spots Stacy arriving with pace on the right-hand side. His cross charged down, and the goalkeeper does well to stop that from going behind for a corner.
It's such a shame that Jack Stacey's first touch, it got away from him a little bit. But it's wonderful build-up play with Josh Sargent, anti-Sargent, and Jack Stacey, as he does on numerous occasions, gets down that right-hand side. But his first touch was a little bit heavy.
Ogilvie on the left-hand side for Portsmouth finds Gazelle, now Swift in midfield, and he's passed the ball back. And he might be making his home debut today, but already the Portsmouth fans are letting him know that that's not how we do it at Pompey. We like to get the ball forward. They need to. They're 2-0 down. Norwich have made a impressive start here on the south coast. Poor ball from Gazelle. And it goes all the way through to Kvachovic, who, let's not forget, has made one brilliant save already. When it was 1-0 to Norwich, we saw Sargent have a shot saved, and then Kvachovic made a brilliant save, and there was probably a minute between the Kvachovic save and then the second goal from Norwich City.
Well, I just hope everybody, I mean, obviously will remember it, and hopefully the fans will remember the value of that save, because it could be 1-1. The game's completely different, and being 2-0 now to Norwich City, the Frat Park crowd are a little bit quieter than they were sort of a few minutes ago.
It's interesting, all the talk in the build-up to this one was about Diallo, given his impressive debut in midweek, and actually Norwich have scored twice in this game, and he's not really been involved, has he?
No, he hasn't. I mean, it's evident that every time he gets the ball that he's got high pressure on him. Just having a run down this left-hand side a few minutes ago, the two Pompey players were chasing him down, and they know that he's a danger player. So, but I think Norwich City just need to hopefully get a little bit more of the ball into him in space.
But again, heartening signs from a Norwich point of view this early in the season that you can have a player who we thought was the real danger being quiet, and yet they've still scored 2 goals, so from different sources, from set pieces. Now Stacy coming forward again on the right hand side. Poor touch again allows Ogilvie to steal it, and now Stacey's caught up the field, and Murphy's looking to get in behind him, but Stoppage does really well, spots the danger, goes across, wrestles with Murphy. I think he's given away a free kick in the end, but Mirko Stoppage read the game well there and realised that Stacy was about to get caught up the field.
I think that's the sort of thing I was alluding to before the game with the wing-backs. If they do go higher and they get dispossessed, it's important that the 2 holding midfielders go and help out, and that's exactly what Stoppage just did.
Here comes Ogilvie, left-hand side for Portsmouth, crossing early into the Norwich penalty area, Lang round the back. It was a deep cross, and he was stretching to try and keep it in play, and he couldn't. And Norwich fans behind that goal are able to give it the ironic cheers. Well, it's been worth the early start for these Norwich City supporters. I think a 12:30 kickoff this far away from home. It means everyone will be home in decent time, but it meant an early start for those Norwich supporters on the buses this morning. 2-0 up at the Canaries away from home, with not quite at the midway point of the first half. Norwich's away form in recent seasons in the Championship, it's been a real problem. The last 2 seasons, only won 10 games in total away from home. So 10 out of 46 away games.
Well, that's not good statistics, but
so from a team that wants to be in the top 6.
No, exactly. That's the sort of record that's not really going to go in your favour, and it's pleasing so far the way they've performed. And like we've just mentioned, Chris, is the 2 goals from set pieces, which Norwich City aren't really renowned for. But you know, going into a successful season, they're going to have to score goals from open play, set pieces, and obviously relying on defenders and goalkeepers from making really good blocks at the other end.
Norwich winning the ball inside their own half, then trying to release Diallo, but the defender from Portsmouth has played it long. Nunez heads it clear. Swift gets a touch in midfield for Portsmouth. Eventually they are under full control now with Ogilvie, and then Murphy, left-hand side, runs into Jack Stacy. The ball falls kindly for Murphy, and now Nunez is trying to get back and help out defensively. Ball's going to run behind. That'll be another Portsmouth corner, their 4th of the match already, but they're 2 goals down. Josh Murphy, we know all about him. I don't know how fit he is because he's not played yet this season, and we didn't think he was going to play today, but there were some mind games from the manager. But he's a real threat, isn't he?
He certainly is when he gets the ball at his feet. I mean, Jack Stacey's going to have his hands full, and as you said, Chris, it's the 4th corner, and at the moment Portsmouth haven't really looked like scoring in any other situation except from a set piece.
Norwich need to stand firm again here. There's the corner from Murphy again. Oh, it's easy for Kvachovic this time. I was going to say again far post. I think that's where he was looking. Whether it's held up in the wind or he didn't quite get hold of it enough, Kvachovic easily coming to collect it. Norwich lead by 2 goals to 0 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Norfolk. City defender Jay Wilson watching this one with us. And enjoying our first away day in the Championship this season for the Canaries. Early goals from Harry Darling and Josh Sargent. City in a healthy position at the moment. Stacy plays the ball to Marcondes, still inside his own half. Stoppage behind him. Stoppage pushes the ball into the path of Nunez. Nunez looking for the pass through to Sargent. He's found him. Sargent through on goal, but there was a heavy touch that made the goalkeeper favourite, and Schmidt comes out and claims it.
That would have been a fantastic goal if it had come off, but Sargent's touch just let him down a little bit. But the build-up play, a crossfield pass into one of the number 10s, set through ball into Josh Sargent. He couldn't quite get on the end of it, but really fantastic football from Norwich.
When you just see those little patterns of play beginning to develop, that's what you want to see more of.
Well, they certainly seem to have a bit of an understanding with Sargent, Sienat, Marcondes in behind, those 3 up top. You know, when the ball goes into Sargent, they know exactly what he's going to do and feed off of him, and it's really important for Norwich City moving forward.
Portsmouth have gone direct here with Segacic. He's one of many players signed from Australian football here in recent weeks. Now a yellow card is going to come out there. for Kvachovic for preventing Portsmouth from taking the throw in quickly. You don't really want your holding midfield player to be on a yellow card this early on in the game, but it is a booking for Topic, and he knew what he was doing there. Portsmouth wanted to take the throw in quickly while Norwich were reorganising, and he just stopped that from happening. So you are always going to get the yellow card for that.
Yeah, you're always running that risk. It's a cheap one, and he's going to be on edge for the rest of the game. But hopefully it doesn't, take away from his competitive abilities in the middle of the park there.
Norwich 2 up. It's back with the Portsmouth defence, and there's Swift in midfield. There's the ball eventually to Regan Poole on the right-hand side, and Swift gives it to Dazelle. It goes back again and all the way to Schmidt, the goalkeeper. Portsmouth supporters, you can hear the distant bell you always hear being rung at Fratton Park there by one of the supporters as Stacy heads the ball forward to Sargent, and Norwich beginning to try and go through the gears again here. Marcondes just hooks one out towards the right-hand side. It's too far in front of Stacy, and it will bounce behind for a goal kick. So Norwich are 2-0 up. You score from a corner, a free kick and a long throw in. Elsewhere in the Championship, Wrexham 0, West Brom 1. Isaac Price with the goal there. And Derby 1, Coventry 2. Goals flying in the early part of the Championship. Phil will update you on all of the latest scores from the early kickoffs when we get to half-time. And then later at 3 o'clock we've got another commentary for you from National North. Hereford against Kings Lynn. Foul there by Harry Darling all over Colby Bishop. And it's a free kick to Portsmouth, halfway inside the Norwich half. I know Norwich have barred that save from Kvachovic. They've dealt with the set pieces fairly well so far, but you don't want to keep giving them away, do you? Because eventually one will tell.
No, you don't want to invite pressure, and it was a little bit clumsy by Harry Darling. It's one of them that you could give it either way, to be honest. And Portsmouth would be aggrieved if it was given Norwich's way, and Norwich are obviously aggrieved because it's been given Portsmouth's way. But so far they've dealt reasonably well with the aerial bombardment from set pieces, and hopefully they'll do the same now.
Well, Swift is going to take it. Player with 336 Championship games to his name, delivers that into the penalty area. Darling heads it, but it's going to be picked up by Murphy. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side, puts a teasing cross in. Cordoba is there to head it away, head it towards the flank where Diallo will chase. Portsmouth have won it though, and it's deflected off Diallo, and there'll be a throw into Pompey, which Lang wants to take quickly, but doesn't see an option. Then he wants to throw it to Swift, and Swift says no. Maybe they're going to try something of their own here with Jordan Williams, Barnsley fullback. Thought about the long throw in, but instead it's gone back to Regan Poole on halfway. And Poole has got one cap for Wales. Plays the ball to Shoplessy, his partner at the back there, and then Poole gets the ball stuck under his feet. Marcondes nearly steals it, but Poole just gets himself out of trouble and gets the ball back to the goalkeeper. And Schmidt needs a bit of calm, and then he's got a really big kick on him, Schmidt, the goalkeeper, and he tries to pick out Lang, who heads the ball infield, ricochets a couple of times towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Cordoba clears it away. Now Schmidt, the goalkeeper, is in the right back position here for Portsmouth and will nonchalantly knock it forward, and Josh Sargent sees a chance to steal it, but John Swift's just got to the ball first and has seen the Norwich attacker out of the game. And now Portsmouth have moved it to the left-hand side. Ogilvie crossing the halfway line now, roared on by the Fratton Park faithful. Norwich are 2-0 up. Sargent just clips Ogilvie there. Down he goes. Referee plays advantage though, because here's Segacic on the left-hand side, trying to tee up Murphy for the cross. Stacy cuts it out and puts it out for a throw-in. You can see the referee was going to give a free kick there, but then he realised that actually Portsmouth still had decent possession. Yeah,
I think it was a free kick, but he's played advantage, and Portsmouth had almost got the ball into the box.
Swift puts it into the box once more, headed away by Stacy. Topic completes the clearance from a Norwich point of view. Ogilvie returns it towards the left-hand side. Spending a lot of time up in the air at the moment. Sargent eventually chops it away. And it goes through to the goalkeeper Schmidt. He gives it to his centre-back Poole. Norwich just sitting deep at the moment, just trying to soak up the pressure. Trying to stop out any hope of a Portsmouth comeback here, because Norwich have started this game very well. 2-0 up inside the opening 15 minutes with those goals from Darling and Sargent. We've been playing for not quite half an hour. I mentioned that second commentary game of the day, Hereford against Kings Lynn from National North. And then it's on the road for the first time this season. I'll bring you full commentary of that from 3. Between the end of this game and the start of that one, we've got Canary Call. You can listen to us here on BBC Radio Norfolk and the Canary Call watch along as well. With Rob Butler and Shay Wilson. If you go to bbc.co.uk/Norfolk, you'll be able to see the footage on Canary Call. Now here goes Diallo, cutting infield from the left-hand side, and then giving the ball away to Murphy, and that might have left Norwich short because they've committed players forward. Here comes Lang, He reverse pass, gets the ball into the penalty, opportunity for Bishop, but it's an excellent challenge from Nunez, who sprinted back into his own penalty area, saw the danger, nicked it off the toes of Bishop as he was about to shoot, and there were high fives from the defenders there. Norwich were caught with players up the field there, though, weren't they?
Well, they were. Well, Diallo had really good possession, sort of cut in field, and it was a loose pass, and the ball ran away to a Portsmouth player and almost carved open the Norwich City defence, but luckily Nunez was there to go and mop up.
Poole plays the ball into the channel, again on the right-hand side for Portsmouth. Harry Darling, one of Norwich's goal scorers, is across to deal with it. Deals with Callum Lang as well, clears it away, but Swift stretches to bring it back under control for Portsmouth, finds Williams on the right-hand side, back to Swift. Done well there, in a really tight space to just keep the ball in Portsmouth's possession. They've had to go back to their goalkeeper, Nicholas Schmidt, in order to do so. Played most of his football in the second division in Austria before being discovered by Portsmouth. Good season last year, Nicholas Schmidt. Stoppage knocks the ball forward for Norwich. Obviously wins the header. Cordoba gets it down to Nunez in the centre circle. Nunez passes the ball out into space on the right-hand side, backing Jack Stacy to get there. He does. Tight to the touchline, Stacy. Nunez behind him on the right-hand side with room to work with. Puts a high hanging ball into the Portsmouth penalty area. Diallo plays it back across goal. Marcondes in the 6-yard box with the header. Didn't quite get enough on it. Goalkeeper makes a save. Marcondes has stayed down after a collision there with Shocklisy. I don't think it was a foul. The referee's decided that Marcondes managed to get the effort on target, but he's quite keen for the Norwich medical staff to come on here because it's a blow to the head of Emi Marcondes and the rest of the players are coming across to the pitch to have a drink. But again, early ball into the box from Nunez. Diallo played it back across and Marcondes came close to scoring.
Well, just prior to that incident, I was just about to say Norwich got a little bit loose with their passing, and I don't know whether that was because Portsmouth up the ante because they're 2-0 down, or Norwich had just been a little bit complacent. But there's a ball from Nunez, switch pass, and Diallo's put the ball in first time on the volley with his right foot. It was a cracking ball in, and Marcondes just couldn't quite get on the end of it, and it's gone harmlessly into the goalkeeper's hands. And obviously we've got a break. He's up on his feet now, so it's good to see.
Yeah, he almost, it was quite interesting. The referee, Stephen Martin, was desperate to get the physios on, and there was one point where they were standing by the goal near Marcondes, and Marcondes was telling them not to come on, and the referee insisted, no, come on, it's a head injury, we can't mess about with this, we've got to see to it. And he's okay, Marcondes, he's going to be fine. Marcondes, his last goal was against Portsmouth back on Good Friday in that 5-3 defeat for Norwich City, which that Easter weekend, coupling that with the defeat against Millwall, has far-reaching consequences. That was a dramatic Easter weekend, and of course Norwich have now started the new league season by playing Millwall and Portsmouth. Lost to Millwall again, but a much better performance against Portsmouth. 13 minutes to go to half-time. Norwich are 2-0 up at Fratton Park. Harry Darling and Josh Sargent with the goals. Norwich want to get Marcondes back on. Having had treatment, he's going to spend the next 30 seconds off the pitch. Just mopping his brow, on his shirt there. He's going to come and rejoin proceedings in a moment. Nunez cutting out the ball, deep inside his own half. Here is Marcelino Nunez. Marcondes is back on the pitch. Norwich goalkeeper Kvachovic clears the ball upfield. Sargent competes for it. Sienats picks it up now. Can he get the pass away to Diallo? He can. Diallo coming forward for Norwich City. Support from Stoppage, who's 30 yards from goal. He's going to hit one, but it's sailing over the crossbar. Never looked like it was going to threaten there, but it can move there Stoppage.
No, it didn't. He never really looked set. I mean, it was on to strike the ball, but he just was just off balance. He never really got set, and I think because he had so many runners sort of running past him, it almost affected his decision making there. And it was on, but the shot was woeful, to be honest.
So funny, isn't it, the Championship? The general feeling this season is that Norwich will have playoff ambitions and will be disappointed if they don't, and that Portsmouth will be really happy if they can stay up again. There's only 3 points between these two sides last season.
Well, I remember coming in December here, and I think...
We'll come back to that in a moment. It's Cordoba there. Is beaten in the air by Lang, then leans into him. Lang goes down rather easily, no foul given. He digs out the cross from the right-hand side. Kvachovic takes the catch. All a bit something and nothing there between Cordoba and Callum Lang, and the goalkeeper takes the catch. Yeah, that was Cordoba is now telling Lang, come on, you've got to stay on your feet. He was looking for something there, wasn't he? That I don't think was ever on.
It was just the coming together. He's gone down and claiming a penalty. It was never a penalty in my opinion. I think he was clutching at straws again there, Lang.
You were saying about coming here last season.
Yeah, sorry.
0-0 draw.
I think at the time, I think Portsmouth were struggling. I think they were just outside the relegation places, and you always know it's going to be a tough place to come to because they're fighting relegation, and Grattan Park's going to be a bit of a fortress for them. And it was never a pretty game of football, but things might be, obviously at the end they picked up points, and only 3 points of Norwich City, so it doesn't paint a pretty picture really from Norwich City's sort of running really for the second half of the season.
Absolutely right. 16th they finished last season. Marcondes has just been penalised. Free kick Portsmouth halfway inside the Norwich half. Another opportunity to try and all their way back into the game. Norwich still 2-0 up. Here's Callum Lang on the right hand side, knocks the ball through the legs of Diallo, but Diallo recovers and wins the ball at the second attempt, and then sets off up the field, plays it over the halfway line, and just the other side of the halfway line is the Portsmouth goalkeeper Schmidt. He's playing a long way outside his penalty area there, and kicks for touch, puts the ball out for a throw in. If that ball had fallen more badly for Nunez, he would have had the Portsmouth goalkeeper standing next to him, just inside the Portsmouth half, and nobody between them and the goal.
No, I mean, it was a good play from the goalkeeper, to be fair. He was high up the pitch to almost act as a sweeper. Thought Nunez was slightly nick it, but he didn't quite get there. And the ball's going out of play, put enough pressure on the goalkeeper just to stick the ball into touch.
Header clear by Williams from Portsmouth. Giselle trying to control in the midfield, goes back to Kvachovic, who goes long. Header clear from Stacy. Murphy then helps it on for Portsmouth. Medic at the back there for Norwich, chops it clear, no chances taken. Excellent control from Sargent up against Shaughnessy there, but he's outnumbered in the end of Sargent because Regan Poole comes across and covers. Led up towards the halfway line in Kvachovic, who scored the winner on the opening day at Oxford. Oh, that's a rash challenge by Cordoba on Lang. That's a battle that has just been developing over the last few moments, and Cordoba was going to make sure that he got something there. And there's a yellow card in the referee's hands. He's now rubbing Lang on the back of the head, is Cordoba, trying to give the impression of somebody with a bit of sympathy, but that's a battle I was about to mention was beginning to develop into something, because there have been a couple of comings together between those two, and now Cordoba takes the yellow card for a siding challenge on Callum Lang.
It was one of those that Cordoba wasn't going to pull out of. He committed himself to it, and he thought, well, if I don't get there, he's gone around me and we're in trouble here. So it's a bit cynical, a bit naughty, but a well-deserved. I think he got a yellow card. I think I'm right in saying that.
He did, yeah.
A well-deserved yellow card, really. So, but that battle's going to be intriguing for the rest of the game now.
Lang on this right-hand side, he's hugging the touchline. He looks like one of Portsmouth's best outlets, doesn't he? As the ball goes into the Norwich penalty area, and Cordoba cuts it out before Kvachovic could strike, and it's cleared away. Lang seems to be the player that Portsmouth are looking for.
It is, and I mean, usually he's a little bit wider, but on that occasion there, Cordoba got a little bit fortunate because he got in between Harry Darling and Cordoba. The ball wouldn't quite drop when Cordoba was okay to cover and recover, but it's important that he covers that space in there, Cordoba, otherwise it could cause problems.
Diallo on the halfway line. Marcondes plays it forward, looking for Stoppage. Pass goes astray. Williams, the defender, gives it away though to Sargent. Here's Stoppage, 30 yards from goal. Diallo's in space, left corner of the penalty area. Here he is, no one spotted him. Delivers the ball towards the far post. It's headed out, but only as far as Stoppage, who's stretching. Manages to keep the move going. Diallo back to Cordoba. Norwich 2-0 up. Trying to find a third here before half-time, but no great hurry about it. They've gone back to the halfway line in order to try and work a better angle for the attack. Here's Nunez from distance. Hits a shot. It's dipping, but it's not dipping enough, and it goes over the crossbar.
Very ambitious from Marcelino Nunez. I mean, it did open up a little bit for him, but I think to score from there, you're going to have to really, really strike through it or get a little bit of luck. But I think he would have been better just maintaining possession, building up a little bit, going wide, and maybe receiving the ball back into the middle of the park.
I think he's probably still got what happened on Tuesday fresh in his mind, where he was closer than that, but he went for goal against Watford. Put it straight at the goalkeeper, really, who let it squirm through his hands. So you never quite know. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Oh, Kvachovic comes right out to the edge of his penalty area and catches the ball just as it crosses the line into the area. The Portsmouth fans are appealing that he was premature with that, but none of the players were, so he's allowed to carry on. Norwich 2-0 up. Cordoba in the left-back position. Floats the ball forward. Diallo chases after it, but it's going to bounce through to Schmidt. You're right, it's been a while since Norwich have had a real clear-cut chance, hasn't it?
No, the game's evened up a little bit. It's been quite scrappy, really, since the second goal. Portsmouth have probably had more possession than Norwich City since the second goal, which won't be good news for Liam Manning. But Norwich City, they just need to get a little bit of possession, keep giving the ball away cheaply, and Portsmouth are able to build and cause problems for Norwich, which then creates the wing-backs to drop a little bit deeper, so there's more space in the middle of the park for Portsmouth to go and play and dictate the game.
Ball over the top from Portsmouth, from Giselle. Murphy chases, it's bouncing towards the Left edge of the Norwich penalty area as Portsmouth look at it. Medic does well, plays the ball against Murphy, and then Medic is unlucky because the ball comes back and hits him and goes off for a Portsmouth corner. He did everything right there, Medic, didn't he? Blasted the ball against Murphy, but he wanted it to go out for a goal kick, and it just flicked off Medic's knee, I think, and off it goes. So Portsmouth corner.
Admittedly, it's a long way away, but I thought it was actually behind the line when it hit him and went out. Well, hit him behind the line, so I thought it was a goal kick, but he's quite unfortunate there, Medic.
So here we go. Murphy's corner. Portsmouth 2-0 down. Plays the corner short to Sargent, corner of the box. He'll swing the cross in, cleared away by Marcondes. That's the 5th Portsmouth corner that Norwich have dealt with. And you can always have a 2-goal advantage. You mentioned about Portsmouth dominating possession. Sometimes those possession stats, they can be a bit misleading, because when you're 2-0 up, you do tend to retreat a little bit, don't you? As Sargent delivers the ball into the penalty area, it's headed on towards Poole, who won't keep it in play. So sometimes possession stats, of course, if you're 2-0 up, you are more likely to drop off and allow the other team to have the ball.
Yeah, well, Norwich are relatively comfortable. Obviously, the next goal is vital, because if Portsmouth get it, it's game on. If Norwich City get it and it's 3-0, it's game over. So it's really important for Norwich that they don't sort of sit back and rest on their laurels and really go for that 3rd goal. Otherwise, it could cost them at the end of the game.
Well, that's what happened on Tuesday at Watford. Norwich were 2-0 up at half-time and by far the better side, but they didn't get the 3rd. And then when Watford did score, it made a much more tense ending than it might have been. 2-0 at the moment, though, to Norwich City as we head towards half-time. Good play forward by Jack Stacy. 4 minutes to go until the interval. The latest BBC Radio Norfolk news at half-time, and we'll bring you up to date with the scores from elsewhere as well. Plus, get ready for our big National North game at 3 o'clock. Hereford against Kings Lynn Town. Schmidt, the goalkeeper for Portsmouth, plays it short to Dazelle, who is put under pressure immediately by Nunez. Has to give it to Regan Poole, and Poole goes back to goalkeeper Schmidt, who caresses the ball up towards the halfway line. It bounces up over Colby Bishop. Topic helps it on. Sienats gets to it for Norwich City, but then Liam Manning's really frustrated there, because having got to the ball, Sienats gives it straight back to Portsmouth. He's right down below the stand that we're sitting in, Manning. I'm just sensing a little bit of frustration at the moment.
Sienats' pass there was just a prime example of, you've got an opportunity to get possession, even if it might take 2-3 touches to sort of smooth the ball out, but he's just giving it away cheaply and surrendered possession, and now Portsmouth have got comfortable possession and Norwich City are in a defensive unit. And I think Liam Manning will be a bit disappointed with that side of the game so far.
Yeah, it's easier to manage a 2-goal lead if you've got the ball, isn't it, rather than allowing another long pass to come from Portsmouth here. Medic clears it before Murphy could get there, but it's bouncing inside Norwich territory. Topic clears it away, a volleyed clearance up towards the halfway line. Shaughnessy gets his header to that one. Comes down to Swift, and then Dazelle on halfway. Williams with a heavy touch. He's picked up by teammate Poole. And now John Swift has it, and the Portsmouth supporters urging their team to try and take the ball forward, but instead Swift's played the ball back. And now it's gone all the way back. Shaughnessy to goalkeeper Schmidt. We'll find Poole, the defender. Poole now brings it up towards halfway. Lang has some room on the right-hand side. Steps away from Diallo, brings it in field. Good challenge comes in from Topic. Portsmouth are first to the loose ball. Liam Manning quite looking forward to half-time, just to reinforce a few messages into his team, who are 2-0 up. Lang, early cross, blocked by Marcondes, who then roars as the ball goes out for a throw-in. Quite sure what that was about from Marcondes.
No, I'm not quite sure what it was about, but just evident that last passage of play, because Diallo's playing a little bit higher. It's almost like a back four, which is dragging Jack Stacy back as a right back, and Sienats is playing quite deep on the right-hand side, almost as a right wing-back, right winger.
Here's Williams for Portsmouth, high up and under into the penalty area. Should be meat and drink for Kvachovic, and it is. One fantastic save from Kvachovic. Portsmouth haven't threatened a great deal. There's that one effort from Regan Poole from the set piece that Kvachovic denied him brilliantly. Former Legia Warsaw goalkeeper. He was on loan there last season, signed from Sporting in the summer. Nunez heads it forward. Loose again from Norwich. They're not doing a particularly good job of just keeping the ball at the moment and taking the pressure off. Medic again plants it on the halfway line where it's picked up by Portsmouth. It's been a while since Norwich have had a sustained spell of possession. Just over a minute to go until half-time. Norwich leading 2-0 at Portsmouth. Excellent interception from Diallo. That might spark Norwich into life. Here's Sargent in the centre circle. Holds off the challenge of Dazelle. Goes one way, then the other. Sargent. He's looking for an option here. He's gone to Topic, 25 yards from goal. Diallo available to the left-hand side. Corner of the penalty area. Strokes the ball across the edge of the box. It's gathered by Nunez. Nunez is going to hit one. Oh, not far over the top. Again, there were other options. But Nunez is a player who got more goals last season than any other in his Norwich City career, and as soon as he gets within 25, 23, 24 yards of the goal, he's going to hit it, isn't he?
It was a fantastic strike, and I was just about to be a bit negative with Nunez with the previous header when he's surrendered possession again. But they've got the ball back quite quickly, and it's a good strike. And the goalkeeper looked troubled from here, but I'm not quite sure how close to the goal it was.
Norwich 2-0 up in the final minute of this first half. Early strikes inside the first 15 minutes from Harry Darling and Josh Sargent have Norwich in a position of strength at the moment, but you're never fully comfortable even at 2-0, are you, in the Championship? And Liverpool last night 2-0 up in their game against Bournemouth in the Premier League opener, and got that one back to 2-2 before Liverpool went on to win it.
I think that just shows the importance of that third goal.
I think you're absolutely right. Here's Ogilvie on the left-hand side for Portsmouth. Plays the ball to Swift on halfway. 2 minutes of time added on at the end of this half. Here's Lang on the right-hand side for Portsmouth. Knocks the ball into the channel for Williams to chase, but Harry Darling reads the danger, clears well. Marcondes with a lovely nonchalant layoff to Stoppage. He finds Sargent. Norwich are still inside their own half, but they're playing some nice football here. Taking the pressure off well. Sargent then looks for Stacy. It's a heavy pass from Sargent. Ogilvie steals it, but between them, Nunez has won the ball and then gone down. But the referee's happy for play to continue. Here's Kvachovic for Portsmouth. Shoots from the edge of the box. It's blocked. He's still down, Nunez. This is a concern for Norwich City. Portsmouth, though, will play on. Murphy on the left-hand side. Still down, Nunez. Portsmouth will continue. It's Murphy going on the outside, crossing, blocked by Stacy. The ball loops up in the air. Sinats prevents the corner, but screws the clearance straight to Ogilvie. Segacic on the edge of the penalty area. Reverse pass into the penalty area. Good tackle comes in. Sinats picks it up. Nunez is still writhing on the halfway line. Why didn't Sinats put that ball out of play? Still Nunez is down. Referee is not stopping it. Portsmouth are being allowed to continue, and now a stray pass, and out it goes. And on comes the Norwich physio. He's been down a long time there, Nunez. As ever with the home fans, there's suspicion that he was going down just to try and bring play to a halt, but he's not got up. And it was a strange one because it looked fairly innocuous. He got the ball well enough, Nunez, along with Sargent, and then when Ogilvie came through with the challenge, he just didn't get up again.
No, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, he's sort of writhing around. I'm not sure whether it's knee or ankle, but he certainly looks to be in a bit of discomfort. And you could sense the crowd getting on his back, thinking he's play acting. But from the first initial scenes here are that he's not milking it. There's something that might be relatively serious here.
Which is a real worry because he's been excellent today, Nunez, in spells, combative. He put the free kick into the box from which Darling scored, but injury issues. Nunez, he was only able to start 27 of Norwich's 46 league games last season. He's still not got up here. You would imagine, if they can, that they'll look to get it to half-time and review the situation with just a minute or so of the half to go. We're just getting a chance to have a look at it again here on the monitor. It's one of those really odd ones, and sometimes they're the ones that you worry about more than any because there's a little bit of contact as Ogilvie tries to drag him back, but not enough to constitute a free kick. And those more innocuous ones are sometimes the ones that lead to the bad injury.
It certainly didn't look as though it was an impact problem. So whether he's twisted something, maybe his knee or ankle, but looking at it on the monitor here, the kick, he certainly got kicked by the centre half, but I don't think it was enough to cause him too much damage. But he's gone down quite awkwardly, and he still looks in a little bit discomfort.
He's being helped to his feet now, Marcelo Nunez, and there is no substitute ready. So I think they're at least going to give this until half-time. And how much of a risk is it to end the half with 10 men and see? There's not that long to go, is there?
No, I think he'll take his time coming off the pitch to kill a few seconds, and I think it looks as though, obviously, no substitutes look as though they're getting warmed up, so I think Nunez will be all right for the rest of the half, most definitely, by the looks of it.
Jacob Wright would be the obvious sub. He was preferred to Nunez in the opening day of the season, but Nunez was so good against Watford in midweek, and Liam Manning has decided that he quite likes that Stoppage-Nunez combination in there. Nunez is just giving his side of the story to the fourth official down there, but play is going to continue. And where were we? Oh yes, throw into Norwich in their left-back position, which Cordoba will take. Still Nunez being looked after by the Norwich medical staff right in front of the dugout. Marcondes there. Didn't seem to be having his shirt tugged, but referee happy for it to carry on. Cordoba clears the ball away, and there ends the first half. And Norwich City, their first 45 minutes of Championship football away from home under Liam Manning. And they got off to the perfect start. They were 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes. Harry Darling planting in his first goal for the club, a free header from a Marcelino Nunez free kick. Surprisingly simple, really. Big centre-back going forward and able to rise unchallenged and headed in. And on 15 minutes it was 2-0. In between the two goals, we should mention, there's a good save from either goalkeeper. Schmidt denied Sargent, and then Kvachovic brilliantly denied Poole from a set piece. But Norwich broke away shortly after that. They want to throw in. We saw Harry Darling for the first time bending his back and sending a long throw in into the Portsmouth penalty area. It was helped on, and Sargent arrived at the far post to dive and head home his third goal in as many games at the start of the season. Underway in the second half. Josh Sargent, the man Rob's just been talking about, gets us underway. Norwich lead by 2-0. I'll give you the revised Norwich lineup in a moment, but they're going from left to right in this second half as we look at it, and they're yellow and green, which means they're attacking the end of the ground where they've got 1,911 supporters officially watching it. That's the end of the ground, Shay, where Simeon Jackson scored, I think in 2011, to earn Norwich promotion to the Premier League. So it's an end of Fratton Park that has happy memories for Norwich City.
Oh, that's it's happy memories for those fans over there, which have really been a credit to the club today. They've come out in numbers, they've been singing away, and hopefully they're going to go home with 3 points and a real happy journey back to Norfolk.
So the Norwich team: Kvachovic in goal, Medic, Darling and Cordoba, the defenders; Stoppage and Nunez, the holding midfielders; Sinat and Schwartau now behind Sargent in attack. Norwich have possession with one of the goal scorers, Harry Darling, on halfway. Cordoba just to his left-hand side. Plays it on to Diallo. Now we see Stoppage playing it forward there. And it comes towards Jack Stacy on the right-hand side. Stacy mounting an attack for Norwich City. Plays the ball into the penalty. Sinat's onto Diallo, who skied it from inside the 6-yard box. But he's fortunate because the flag is up. That was some miss, wasn't it?
It certainly was. He wasn't far out. It came to him very, very quickly, and it's obviously had a little nick off Sinat. And it was a tough chance, but he's not too far out. He'd be disappointed if he hasn't put it in the net, but I think the linesman saved him a little bit.
Portsmouth, Schmidt in goal. No changes for them. Williams, Poole, Shaughnessy and Ogilvie at the back. Swift and Dazelle. The central midfielders, Lang and Murphy wide, and they've got Segacic playing behind Colby Bishop in attack. It was a scrappy first half, really, after Norwich had raced into that 2-goal lead. Here's Kvachovic, the goalkeeper, who decides to take on the striker Colby Bishop, not once but twice, and no harm done. Cordoba might get himself in a tangle here in the left-back position, but he's emerged with the ball. He thinks he should have a free kick, but he's now been closed down again by Segacic, and there are two Portsmouth players onto him, and eventually Stoppage has to come across and help out. And the running battle between Cordoba and Lang, that was one of the talking points in the first half, is continuing at the start of the second. Norwich clear it away. They 2-0 up. You probably don't need to take those sort of chances. Schwartau does really well, the 19-year-old, to win it in the centre circle for Norwich City, who are 2-0 up. Stoppage plays it through the middle to Oscar Schwartau. Wide to the right-hand side, and Jack Stacy level with the penalty area of Portsmouth. The cross comes in, it's deep, it bounces in the box. Diallo heads it on. Sinach with his back to goal, can't turn. Portsmouth have scrambled it away. Headed forward by Cordoba, headed away by Portsmouth. Now Nunez gets it to Cordoba, and here's Medic at the back for Norwich City. Through the midfield to Nunez, who's shaken off that injury that he suffered at the end of the first half by the looks of it. Stoppage, central position. And two Norwich players on a yellow card. Miko Stoppage finds Jack Stacy on the right. Stacy back to Medic on halfway. Liam Manning almost moving along the side of the pitch in line with the ball for a moment there, watching his team have possession. I'm sure he'll want them to have the ball a little bit more, because they were 2-0 up, and we saw the possession stats at half-time. And Shay, and your feeling was right, actually. Portsmouth basically 60-40 in favour of Portsmouth with the possession.
Well, it's unusual to see a team with that much possession, losing 2-0 at half-time, but I think it was evident in the game after the second goal went in. Portsmouth, they're always going to have a little bit of an impetus to go and get a goal back into the game, so they're going to have some possession, but I think Norwich City will be a little bit disappointed for giving away possession cheaply and dropping off and not really adding an attacking threat.
I said a moment ago that it looked as if Nunez had shaken off that injury that he suffered at the end of the first half, but maybe not, because he's coming off. He's just gone down, he's in a sitting position on halfway, and Jacob Wright is ready to come on. So clearly they've just decided to send Nunez out and give him a chance at the start of the second half. This is a blow, isn't it? And Cordoba's had to come across and change his shirt, because in that last tangle with Lang, he just got ripped almost across the breastbone. That's the second Norwich shirt that's been ripped this season. We saw Sargent's against Millwall, but what a blow this is. Nunez, who's been excellent with the set pieces in particular, he's not going to play any further part in the game.
Well, you always want your starting 11 if they're performing to stay on the pitch, and obviously Nunez has done really, really well so far in the game. It's disappointing to see him having to walk off, but it's obviously something that they looked at half-time. He said, I'm going to give it a go, try and get through it, which is good signs of his mentality that he really, really wants to be out there, but it gives Jacob Wright an opportunity to come back into the team.
Well, Jacob Wright, really exciting player. Lots of Norwich fans expecting a lot of him after signing from Manchester City, but he's only 19. He's only started 11 league games in his career, all of those for Norwich. So when you've got Nunez, who's an international footballer, maybe it's understandable why Manning went with him today, and I think it's paid off up until now, because he's set up a goal from a free kick, but now Wright is on because Nunez has taken, we hope isn't a serious injury. There is Jacob Wright's first touch, and it's an up and under towards the halfway line. Swift returns it for Portsmouth. Medic heads it away. Sargent jumps strongly, heads it down to Jacob Wright. Wright goes down. Welcome to the game, Jacob Wright. Brought down by Portsmouth number 10, Kvachovic. And it's a free kick for Norwich on halfway.
Well, they'll miss Nunez's experience in the centre of the park, like you just said, Chris, but it's an opportunity for Jacob Wright. I'm looking forward. I've not actually seen him play yet, so I'm really excited to see him play. And hopefully he can get on the ball and start to dictate the game, so Norwich can go and get a third goal.
Kvachovic, the goalkeeper, sends one forward. Ogilvie beats Kvachovic in the air. It's going to fall for Josh Murphy here for Portsmouth. Plays the ball into the penalty area, just gets too much on it though. Lang was hovering, but it's gone in front of him and through to Kvachovic. He made, if you weren't with us in the first half, the Norwich goalkeeper, Vladan Kvachovic, made one absolutely terrific save from Regan Poole in the first half. Just a minute or two before, Josh Sargent stooped to head home the second Norwich goal. Here's Stoppage. Deep inside his own half, Kvachovic slightly on his heels there, but does enough, and Stoppage is now able to release Stacy. Space on the right-hand side for the Norwich wing-back. He crosses early into the box. Sargent can't quite get there. Regan Poole clears it up in the air. Kvachovic brings it down out of the air on the edge of the penalty area. As Mirko Topic behind him for Norwich City in yellow and green, attacking the end where their supporters are watching from. Diallo, left corner of the penalty area on his league debut for Norwich City. Cordoba behind him. Goes on to Mirko Topic. Topic plays one over the top here, looking for Stacy around the back. It just agonisingly bounces away off the turf and behind for a goal kick. That looked like a nice move from Norwich City. It
must be lovely for the holding midfielders to know that every time that they get the ball in there and they open out, that Jack Stacey's going to make those kind of runs. The quality wasn't quite there, but it was a really, really positive run from Jack Stacey, and it puts enough doubt in the Portsmouth players' minds to drop, and then maybe Jack Stacey goes and gets the ball feet. So, but really positive, and hopefully they can keep that sort of telepathy going.
He scored against Portsmouth in that 5-3 back on Good Friday, Jack Stacey. One of 3 goals he's got for Norwich. This is his 97th appearance. He's played one forward there, a bit too much on it from him this time in the direction of Kvachovic. Goalkeeper Schmidt will gather. He throws it out to the left back Ogilvie, who will run up towards halfway and then find Murphy. Great tackle from Wright, but then Wright wasn't quite sure where the ball had landed, and it means that Portsmouth in their navy blue shirts, white shorts and red socks are able to get it back under a cloudy afternoon down here on the south coast, but I'm not going to complain about the temperature, given it was December the last time we were here. Just sitting here in a t-shirt today watching the game, Shay, so that's very different to our last visit here, isn't it?
No, most definitely. It was very, very cold up here in December, and it was very, very hot in Somerset yesterday. I was expecting the same today. It's very, very warm, not quite as warm as yesterday, but lovely.
We're not in heatwave territory anymore as Topic loses it. Lang heads towards the penalty area, gets torn down there by Mirko Topic, who is on a yellow card and has to be careful. The card, I think, is going to stay in the pocket, but Mirko Topic dragging the Portsmouth man down 25 yards out. I think Hearts must have been in mounds there on the Norwich dugout.
Yeah, he's walking a bit of a tightrope, so it's just important that he doesn't do anything stupid for the rest of the game, and because obviously Norwich City go down to 10 men, that gives the real impetus to Portsmouth. 11 men, the crowd will get behind Portsmouth and try and get back into this game, so it's really important he doesn't do anything stupid without taking away his tackling abilities and his combative abilities.
Well, have they got an opportunity to grab the impetus here? Norwich are 2-0 up, let's not forget that, but this is an opportunity for Portsmouth. 9 minutes into the second half, a free kick, 20 yards out. It's more towards the corner of the penalty area than it is the D. Well, it looks like John Swift is going to stand over this, the 30-year-old who was with West Brom last season. Norwich have everybody back in their penalty area. Can Portsmouth hit back here? Swift up to the ball, does shoot. Josh Sargent blocks it. Kvachovic from the rebound, beaten to it by Jacob Wright. Superb. Norwich are on the counter-attack with Diallo racing over the halfway line, but he gets tackled. A wonderful tackle there from Dazelle, but then Portsmouth give the ball straight back to Norwich City, but Stacy can't hold it in play. It runs out of play. It's a throw into Portsmouth, and another frantic little spell comes to an end.
Yeah, a bit frantic. It was obvious that Swift was going to strike the ball. He couldn't get it up over the wall, but the wall's done its job. It's just from the way he addressed the ball, you know he's going to shoot, but it was a bit scrappy after that. There was a half a break on, didn't quite fall for Josh Sargent.
Yeah, they were never quite in control of it, Norwich, were they? Now Portsmouth have gone long, and they've got Murphy in on the left-hand side. Low cross into the Norwich penalty area. Cordoba's there to clear. Portsmouth fans are so frustrated because that ball ran right through the Norwich box, and nobody in a blue shirt was on the end of it, and that's enough down below us for Portsmouth to start signalling for the substitutes to get ready.
Well, it wasn't too bad a ball across into the box. It went behind the initial striker that was gone in front post, and it sort of arrived at the penalty spot, but Portsmouth didn't have any midfielders or attacking players advancing onto the ball, and Norwich City played their way up quite handsomely and maintained possession.
And then we've got a Portsmouth injury. Lang is sitting on the floor. Referee stopped play. And Portsmouth, I think, are going to be forced into perhaps their first change. Norwich 2-0 up. Quite often people talk about 2-0 being a dangerous lead, Chad. I think the statistics don't really back that up, and that most teams who go 2-0 up do go on to win. But these spells where you're 2-0 up for a long time, and you know that if you concede one, the momentum of the game is going to change. How do you avoid that happening? What is the best way to manage a 2-goal lead?
I think it's just a mindset. I think you have to just approach it as you would if the game was 0-0. You know, because the danger is if you're 2-0 up, you start to, be a little bit cautious, and the ball goes backwards and sideways too much. It allows the opposition to encroach on you, to go and nick the ball, and then you're in dangerous territory. So you almost think, well, it's still 0-0. We still need to go and score goals to really cement our position in this game. So I think it's just a mindset thing really that needs to go throughout the team from back to front. And if they can, the third goal, like I say, if Norwich City do get the next goal, it's game over really. You'd expect the game to be over. But even in this position, if Norwich City don't walk away with 3 points today, they'll be really, really disappointed.
Well, after that challenge from Stoppage on Lang for the free kick a moment ago, I've just shown a replay of it, and Lang actually got it and was holding his hamstring, so he's gone off. And in his place comes Florian Bianchini, French player, signed on loan from Swansea. Only made 8 league starts for Swansea last season, but you'll know Harry Darling well from being at the Swans. And he comes on to fill in for Lang on that right-hand side. And it's a blow, that, I think, for Portsmouth, because Lang has been having a good running battle with Cordoba, and in the first half I thought he looked like the best outlet for Portsmouth.
Well, he did. They seemed to look for him quite a bit out on this right-hand side, and Cordoba had his hands full, and I think that's a little bit of a plus point for Norwich City that he's had to go off.
A real thriller in the Championship going on at Pride Park at the moment. Derby are now 3-2 up against Coventry. Former Norwich City player, never getting the first team at Norwich, but he was around the first team and around the academy for a while. Ibu Adams has scored for Derby. They're 3-2 up against Coventry, who were in the playoffs last season. Here it's 2-0 to Norwich City away at Portsmouth. But Portsmouth are trying to make it uncomfortable with Murphy with space on the left-hand side. He's been allowed to run a long way. Crossed into the penalty area. Darling is there to clear it away. Schwartau has it, plays it up towards Sargent on halfway. Sargent loses it, but Jacob Wright gets to the ball at the second attempt and hoists it over towards the left-hand side. What fantastic control from Diallo. Seeing that slightly on his heels, but we'll get to the pass there against Poole, and we'll get a free kick as well. Poole, Sinat seemed to be second favourite for that, but he managed to get to the ball. Poole is booked as well for fouling him, which it's over the far side of the pitch from us, but that does seem a little harsh.
It certainly looked a little bit harsh, but I've just got to mention the touch from Diallo. I thought the ball was definitely either going to go out of play or he's going to try and bring it down, and it's going to get away from him and Portsmouth will break. But he's brought it down on a sixpence. Unbelievable technical skill from Diallo.
Just noticed as that last Norwich attack was developing, Josh Murphy looked like he was blowing a little bit. It's his first appearance of the season. I don't know how many more minutes Portsmouth can get out of him. Norwich have scored from a couple of set pieces in this game, a free kick and a long throw so far. But Nunez, who took the free kick from which Harry Darling scored, he's gone off. Jacob Wright is now on, and it's the young substitute who's standing over this free kick. Left-hand side, Darling and Medic and Cordoba have all gone forward. Here comes the delivery from Jacob Wright into the Portsmouth penalty area, and it's headed on, and Cordoba inside the 6-yard box, blocked and hooked away. Diallo on the edge of the penalty area, can't find a teammate. Bianchini swats it away, and Norwich have to start from the halfway line now with Jack Stacy. Goes back to his goalkeeper, Kvachovic. It's another Norwich set piece. Haven't had a corner yet in this game, Norwich, but the free kicks and the long throw-ins have been causing problems. Medic has stayed inside Portsmouth territory. Here he is, the former Ajax player, lays it off to Stoppage, heavy touch from Stoppage, and he's on a yellow card, so he can't afford them to dive in for the challenge, and Bianchini's going to get away from him on the right-hand side. Puts the brakes on though, Bianchini, and then gets tackled by Diallo, and it's a throw into Portsmouth. Norwich 2-0 up. They could just get a third goal, particularly in front of those away fans. You really feel they were on their way to that first league win of the season. Swift for Portsmouth, onto Ogilvie. In front of him on the left-hand side is Murphy. Murphy still going, curls the cross into the penalty area, too deep, and it bounces behind for a goal kick. John Bassino, the Portsmouth manager, turns, picks up a bottle of water. There's a short sip of that, ponders what he's going to do to get his team back into the game. Norwich, though, at the moment, the longer it goes on at 2-0, we've nearly played an hour now. The more you fancy them hanging on to it, and I think now that the instruction from Liam Manning is to not take short goal kicks, is to just see if they can get the ball away and up the pitch for a bit.
Well, even though we've got a lot of this game left to play, you know, the evidence is there that, well, actually, we're not going to take chances. If we have to walk away with a 2-0 win, we walk away with a 2-0 win, and if we have to play up in the Portsmouth half, let's do it.
Ogilvie blasts it forward for Portsmouth. It's going to bounce out of play on its old-fashioned stands with pillars all the way across and the corrugated roof. So the slope on it hangs down into our eye line. So when the ball is cleared up in the air, we have to wait and see where it lands. And that one lands in the Norwich right back position, and now it goes up and above the level of the stand again from Jacob Wright. I think that's actually hit the roof of the stand. And now it lands just in front of Murphy as he takes the throw in with a spare ball. Segacic left-hand side for Portsmouth, well forward. Tackle comes in from Schwartau, it's a good one. And Norwich have put it back with Stacy, who just clears the ball up towards the halfway line. No chances taken. And it goes through to the goalkeeper Schmidt, who's standing outside his penalty area. Raise it off to Shotnessy. And now eventually on the left-hand side it's Ogilvie as Portsmouth continue to enjoy more of the ball. But Norwich are 2-0 up. Here's Dazelle, former Ipswich midfielder, son of Jason Dazelle, of course. Now, Portsmouth move it towards the right-hand side. Norwich are moving across with them and making it difficult, and they've had to go all the way back to their goalkeeper Schmidt. He will settle for a short pass out towards Connor. You see there, former Burton player, an injury-hit season last season, only played 9 matches. Ogilvie into the channel. Murphy's made a good run, but he's offside, and the flag over on the far side is up. I wondered how Murphy had got so far beyond the Norwich back line there.
It's good play from the back four, actually, as it was. I was looking at it, and Cordoba was playing as a left back, Jack Stacy as a right back. It looked as though they were going to get in, and the linesman's put the flag up. And, you know, they've obviously played the offside trap really, really well to catch him offside there.
Just having a look if there's signs of movement on the Norwich bench. Fiscoren is going through quite a warm-up. We've got 5 subs warming up at the moment, Norwich, so we've already made 2 changes. Marcondes and Nunez going off. Certainly Nunez was an injury. We assume Marcondes was as well, because that happened at half-time. Stacy sees the ball out for a throw-in. On this right-hand side, halfway inside the Portsmouth half. Norwich 2 goals to the good here on BBC Radio Norfolk. Commentary of Hereford against Kings Lynn in the National North coming up at 3. And before that, you've got Canary Call, and hopefully some of these Norwich fans that you can hear now, the 1900 or so, will be among those who will ring in, and you'll be able to listen to them and watch the Canary Call watch along as well. bbc.co.uk/Norfolk. Medic for Norwich City. Plays the ball along the right-hand side. So poor pass gone out of play, and I think this is going to frustrate Liam Manning, isn't it? It's Norwich, when they have got the ball, really seem quite sure what to do with it, and are just conceding possession far too easily. Yeah,
they're a little bit wasteful in possession at the moment. And it almost looks at times that they've gone to a 4-2-3-1. I don't think they have, but just by design it's ending up like that with the back four, holding 2 holding midfielders. Schwartau is playing more on the right hand side more than centrally, I think, to protect Jack Stacy, with Josh Sargent up front. So it's important that they dictate the way they want to play the game rather than let Portsmouth dictate the game.
Long kick from Schmidt, the Portsmouth goalkeeper. This for Segacic, 25 yards out, no one closes him down, he hits the shot, not far over the top of the crossbar, or a corner's been given. Maybe Kvachovic got a little flick on that on the way over the crossbar. If he did, that's a decent save.
Yeah, I think I'm not convinced it was ever going in the goal, but it looks as though he certainly got a touch to it, and the fans behind the goal obviously realised he had. He got up as if to say, well, yes, I've got a hand to it. You know, goalkeepers like taking credit for saves, and he's given away a corner.
Norwich are going to get Kellen Fisher on in a moment, but they've got a corner to defend first. Murphy plays the ball high. It's gone out of play for a goal kick the other side. I think Josh Murphy is just about done in this game. During that last Portsmouth attack, we were watching Segacic, well, Murphy was just sort of walking around in the left-back position. I think they're desperate to try and get something out of him. But Jack Stacy is coming off, and Callum Fisher is coming on, so that will be a straight swap in that right wing-back position. You only assume that Liam Manning, who's on this near side of the pitch and is watching them at close quarters, feels that he just needs a bit of extra legs on this right-hand side, because I don't think Stacey's done a lot wrong today, has he?
No, I don't think he has, but he always gives you so much energy that he's going to run out of gas at some point. And he's been up and down defensively. He's joined in the attack when invited to, and I think he's just fresh legs. I don't think there's anything tactically going to change just to get some high energy back on the pitch with Callum Fisher.
Premier League, early kick-off today, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0. Villa are down to 10, they've had Ezri Konsa sent off. 2-0 to Norwich City here at Fratton Park. As we've been saying for quite a long time actually, the next goal in this game feels crucial. Cordoba making sure that it's not going to happen for Portsmouth for a while, just by blasting the ball forward. And it's back with Schmidt, the Austrian goalkeeper for Portsmouth. Norwich haven't really threatened in this second half. I'm just trying to think about an opportunity at goal that those Norwich fans have been able to witness. There hasn't really been much.
No, there was a scrappy incident. I can't remember if it was a corner or a throw-in came in, and it looked as though it could fall to a Norwich City player, and it caused a lot of unrest in the defensive area. But other than that, they certainly haven't created anything in this second half. Norwich City haven't.
But I think part of that is being 2-0 up and managing the game, isn't it?
Most definitely. I'm sure that is part of it, and they're relatively comfortable still because Portsmouth are running out of time to get back into it.
Gazelle gets the better of Schwartau, feeds Murphy on the left-hand side, across from the Portsmouth player. It might fall for Segacic. Really important touch there from Stoppage to take it away after Kvachovic, the goalkeeper, had pushed the ball away, and now Callum Fisher gets the clearance away. Here's Swift for Portsmouth, plays the ball forward onto Murphy, who from distance is going to hit one, and it's way off target. I think he's going to have to come off, Murphy. He's got nothing left in the tank, has he?
I think the shot was really ambitious, and I think he's actually only shot because he's so physically tired. He's got his hands on his hips and he's breathing, but I think he got it behind Callum Fisher though. He's still got a little bit left in the tank, so hopefully Callum Fisher can keep him quiet.
I don't know whether this is coming across on the microphone, but there's a Portsmouth fan, I think it's a Portsmouth fan around us, who's of a very nervous disposition. And every time the ball goes into either of the penalty areas, they start screaming. Have you picked that up, Joe? Have you heard that?
A little bit, yeah. There's some unrest. There's an excitement, a nervous excitement there.
I don't know how they're going to get through the season. This is only the first home game. I think it's coming from the Portsmouth supporters. Callum Fisher will see this one out for a throw-in. But they were screaming a minute ago as the ball went low into the Norwich penalty area. Kvachovic did well to cut it out, but it needed Mirko Topic, and I think one of Liam Manning's priorities over the summer was to get in a natural holding midfielder, and I know he's on a yellow card today, but we've seen a couple of times why you do need somebody in there who can do that job.
Yeah, you certainly need a blend. If you're going to play two holding midfielders like Liam Manning has today, you need a blend. You can't have two similar players who are either going to be too comfortable. You want the technical ability to play forward, but you also need that steel that's going to be disciplined and sit in front of the back four and stop the opposition from playing, and Stoppage has done that today.
Header on by Portsmouth. They're trying to get back in the game. Murphy goes down on the challenge of Callum Fisher. Free kick's been given to Portsmouth, and this is why they've left Murphy on, really. I think they might take him off in a moment, because I can see two Portsmouth subs getting ready. But I think they've left Murphy on because they're hoping that he might still be able to make a difference from a set play, and they've won one here, level with the Norwich penalty area. 2-0 to Norwich City. We're midway through the second half. Portsmouth have been making all the running, really, in terms of trying to put an attack together. Segacic, who scored the winner at Oxford last week, is going to take this free kick with the left foot from the left-hand side. It's level with the Norwich penalty area. Everyone back for Norwich. Segacic delivery in towards the 6-yard box, headed up in the air by Callum Fisher. It's going to land still in the penalty area. There's a tussle. Schwartau gets a touch. The Norwich players hit the deck, but play goes on. Murphy will shoot again from distance, and again it fades wide. Not getting any closer at the moment, is he, Murphy? But we know, there are 108 games for Norwich, 20 goals. He is more than capable of finding the top corner from there.
You could see exactly what he was trying to do. It opened up on his right foot, and he wanted to bend it. He just didn't get the bend, and it's gone harmlessly wide, and the goal kick to Norwich. But as soon as he addressed it, you knew that he was going to try and bend it into that far corner. Just couldn't quite get the bend on it.
Portsmouth have got quite a link up at the moment with Australia. They've been signing a lot of players from Australian football over the last couple of years because they feel there's real value there, and you perhaps don't have to pay the transfer fees you do when you're signing players from this country. And one of those players is Thomas Waddingham, and he is about to come on. Before that, though, Zach Swanson, who was a youngster with Arsenal, was once loaned out by Ben Naffert when he was the loans manager at Arsenal. He is going to come on, and he is going to play at right back, and indeed Murphy is going off for Waddingham to come on the left-hand side, and I think they've absolutely wrung every last ounce of energy out of Murphy, haven't they?
Well, they got their money's worth from Josh Murphy today, and he hasn't caused a huge amount of problems, but just every now and then he looks very, very dangerous, and I think Norwich will be happy to see him replaced.
Yeah, he's not fit, as you can tell. It's not been the full firing on all cylinders Josh Murphy that we've certainly seen play against Norwich and for Norwich before.
But it just goes to show the value that the managers want.
Here comes Dazelle for Portsmouth, striding forward and shooting over the top. Kvachovic throws it away, but Liam Manning now is cutting quite a frustrated figure there. I think he's annoyed that Dazelle was allowed to run through the middle of the pitch and get the shot away. Norwich can't keep getting away with this. They are going to just have to up it at some point, aren't they?
Yeah, Portsmouth have been a little bit more positive. They've nicked the ball in the centre of the park, and Andre Dazelle will be a little bit unhappy that he hasn't hit the target there. But they're just creating half chances. Nothing clear-cut at the moment, but it's quite unsettling for Norwich.
I think Liam Manning's feeling that, just down below us. But Norwich are still 2-0 up. Ball's gone back to Kvachovic, the Norwich goalkeeper. Clears his lines, right-footed. Sinat's nowhere near it. Darling's got it for Norwich City. Squeezes the ball into Portsmouth territory. Sargent does well to make something of that. Diallo plays it forward, looking for Sinat. It's gone behind Sinat and will be swept up at the back by Portsmouth. Here's Ogilvie. Dazelle pushes one forward. Bianchini has now come across to the left-hand side actually to fill the role that Josh Murphy was playing, and the substitute Waddingham has gone over to the right-hand side, and Fisher sees that one behind for a goal kick. It actually may even have been an offside by the looks of it. The flag is up as that ball went out to Bianchini. Norwich on their way, possibly, to a first league win of the season. 19 minutes to go. 2-0 up. That's been the score since the 15th minute.
Well, it certainly looks a little bit more of a back four now. Kellen Fisher is playing a lot deeper. Cordoba's gone more in the left back position. I mean, obviously it's just the goal kick, the set piece, that it looks almost like 4-2-3-1 now.
Norwich trying to see this one out. Fisher as well to head the ball back to goalkeeper Kvachovic. Callum Fisher, 34 league starts last season, just 3 the year before that, had a real breakthrough. Johannes Torup was great news for Callum Fisher. Manning at the moment seems to prefer Jack Stacy starting games in that right back position, but Fisher will come on and will do a job as he is at the moment. Ogilvie testing him here though with a high ball. Fisher gets underneath it, hits it infield. And it runs towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area, but Topic is there. Wasn't able to take the ball in his stride though. Here's Bishop for Portsmouth, playing it into the Norwich penalty area. Waddingham stretching, can't control. And it goes behind for a goal kick.
I mean, it's a bit of a luxury for the manager having 2 players that are really fighting and vying for that position. And Jack Stacy, we know what we're going to get from Jack Stacy. Kellen Fisher, every time I've seen him, has really impressed me, and probably a little bit more defensive minded than Jack Stacy. So maybe the state of the game has made Liam Manning think a little bit differently. So, but it must be a luxury to have 2 very capable players to play in that position.
Looks like Norwich are about to make their last 2 changes, but Sinat loses the ball high up the pitch. Again, just another chance to take the sting out of it and just keep the ball in Portsmouth territory. They're not really doing that particularly well at the moment, Norwich, and I wonder why. That's why we've got Quiscore and Schlupp warming up, and in fact more than that, getting stripped and ready to come on now. Portsmouth 2-0 down, but in possession with John Swift. Ogilvie on the left-hand side. Norwich now being urged by Liam Manning to pin Portsmouth into their own half as much as they can. It's back with the goalkeeper Schmidt. Right-footed, clears the ball upfield. Darling's headed down for Norwich City. Topic controls well. Decides to have a bit of a run forward. Plays it short in the end to Schwartau. Now here's Callum Fisher. Socks roll down his ankles. If it goes towards Sargent, who kicks that one on, but Sinats doesn't make a run in behind, and it's easily swept up and dealt with by Portsmouth. Shot we see to Swift through the midfield here for Portsmouth. To the left-hand side, and Ogilvie. First time. Oh, in behind Kellen Fisher. Bianchini catches up with it here. Level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Delivers the cross towards the far post. Diallo back defending. He's going to run away from him. Sargent keeps the ball in play by the corner flag on the right-hand side for Portsmouth as they try to chase away back into the game. Dangerous cross. Bishop heads it up in the air and behind, and that will be a goal kick. It seems as if Sargent has actually now gone over to the right-hand side, and Waddingham, the Australian who came on as a sub, is playing behind the strikers. Norwich player down there actually. Is that Diallo? Yeah. Norwich are taking off Josh Sargent. That's an interesting one with just over 15 minutes to go. Sargent, who's got his goal, 3-3 at the start of the season, the skipper, he's going to be replaced by Matthias Friskoren. I suppose that's making sure he's okay for championship challenges of the future, all being well, isn't it? Him going off here with 15 minutes to go.
A matter of looking after him, really. I mean, he's not really had too much play in the second half. He's been feeding off scraps. The quality into him hasn't been great, and maybe it's just protecting him, getting some fresh legs who are going to, maybe run into the channels a little bit more, even though Josh Sargent will do it. But, when that fatigue starts to kick in, that's the risk of injury. So maybe it's just more of a rest thing rather than a tactical element.
And Jeffrey Schlupp is going to replace Diallo, the player who's gone off. That's what I was expecting. I haven't seen the number go up yet, but Schlupp is ready to come on. Vastly experienced winger. He started the opening day of the season. Yeah, here comes Diallo. He's making one of these slow walks across the pitch. To be replaced by Jeffrey Schlupp. High fives for Sargent down below us at the bottom of the stand that we're sitting in. One of the delightful things about Norwich City this season, Jay, is that at the moment when Josh Sargent goes off, he hands the armband on to one of his teammates, and that means Norwich have now got Captain Darling at the back, which is something that appeals to lots of Norwich supporters. Schwartau, tussling, doesn't win the ball. Portsmouth do. They put a high one up towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Kvachovic. Schlupp involved in the game for the first time and coming through a robust challenge and winning it. That's what he's been brought on to do. The 32-year-old's gone back towards his own penalty area here, though, Schlupp, and he's ended up having to clear the ball out of play for a throw in. He seemed to have the situation under control and then lost his bearings.
He did. He sort of turned back in. He kept possession of the ball really, really well, kept hold of it, but sadly was going in the wrong direction and nothing really opened up for him. Portsmouth started to close and he's had to stick the ball into play for a throw-in.
Schlupp, who's come on, has made 280 Premier League appearances under his belt. Jeffrey Schlupp, so the sort of player you want to be bringing on when you've got a 2-0 lead to protect.
Yes, definitely. Having a vastly experienced player like that coming on in these circumstances is going to be really invaluable for them.
Yeah. One of the criticisms on the opening day against Millwall, we'll come back to that in a moment, is Portsmouth coming forward here and causing problems for Norwich. The ball laid into the penalty area looking for Bishop, but it's cut out by Medic and rebounds nicely for Schlupp, and there could be an opportunity for Norwich to get the ball up the field here. Schlupp plays it in behind for Sinat's the chase, goalkeeper out of his penalty area smartly. It's about 30 yards from goal by the time he clears it. Cordoba controls, drives it in field to Jacob Wright. Wright really hasn't had much of an opportunity to get his foot on the ball since coming on, but he's played a nice pass away to Fisher on the right-hand side, and it comes back to Jacob Wright now, who came on for the stricken Marcelino Nunez at the start of the second half. We hope that injury isn't too serious. Norwich have already lost McLean and Forson in terms of that midfield position through injury. Captain Darling plays the ball back to goalkeeper Kvachovic, who passes it out to Stoppage. And he will play it up now towards Friskoren today. 20 goals last season for Bromby, and now playing as the centre forward for Norwich City, with Sinat's and Schwartau behind him. He was ill for the cup tie against Watford, Matthias Friskoren, so didn't get a chance to play a part in that game. Had a lively cameo against Millwall on the opening day. Fisher plays it forward here for Norwich. Friskoren shows for it, goes down, no foul. He stays down as well, Friskoren, but play continues. Bianchini, left edge of the penalty area for Portsmouth, onto his right foot, drives the ball across, it's blocked, comes out to Dazelle on the edge of the box. Now Ogilvie, left corner of the penalty area, Portsmouth on the attack, Bianchini tries across, it's blocked, comes to Ogilvie, teasing ball into the 6-yard box, dealt with by Medic, and then Kellen Fisher makes the challenge, and he's given away a penalty! Left the foot in there as Bianchini got to the ball first. The referee was perfectly positioned. He points to the penalty spot, and having been 2-0 up and in control for so long, with 12 minutes to go, Norwich City have given away a penalty, and this could set up a grandstand finish.
They certainly can. I think Norwich are a little bit unfortunate in the fact that I think Friskoren was fouled earlier in the move, but it was just a sloppy little bit defending from Kellen Fisher. The ball was bouncing, he didn't read it very well, and the Portsmouth players nicked it, and he's given away a penalty, and it's given Portsmouth that interest. If they score there, it's this game on.
Well, it really is. 12 minutes to play. Fisher's challenge on Bianchini. Referee was in a great position to see it. There weren't too many complaints from the Norwich defenders, which tends to tell you a story. Bianchini just got to the ball first, and that is what has, as it bounced out towards the edge of the penalty area, and Bianchini, Fisher had already committed to the challenge, hadn't he, and just followed through and caught Bianchini. think it's a penalty.
I think it's a penalty.
I don't think there's... Anyway, Colby Bishop with the spot kick takes it. Oh, Kvachovic has saved it! Still 2-0. Down to his left. It was fairly tamely struck, but he aimed for the corner, Colby Bishop. Kvachovic dives, clutches the ball, and has given Norwich a great chance of winning the game now. Big moment for the goalkeeper.
Fantastic save. I mean, he's guessed right. It's gone low to his left-hand side, and he's not only saved it, he's kept hold of it as well, which has been fantastic from Kvachovic.
And that's been cheered by the Norwich fans away to our right-hand side, the far end from where it happened, as if it was a goal. He's made a couple of brilliant saves in this game, one in the first half, and in that one, a penalty. Bishop just tried to place it in the net, but the goalkeeper guessed right and made a fantastic save.
He hasn't had to do too much in the game except for those 2 saves and what he's been asked to do, and he's done really well. Those 2 saves, he's collected crosses when he's needed to, collected a couple of corners that he's been able to come and claim, and that's what you need as a defending goalkeeper, to be really dominant.
And that has just seen Kvachovic chase the ball up and win a throw-in for Norwich high up the field. That, I think, I'm just looking at the away fans, they're all clapping in unison and waving their hands. I think they now do believe that is the big moment in the game.
I think just signs like that is going to be your day. You know, if it goes in, the game's completely
hooks
different.
The ball across from a throw-in, it's cleared away, returned into the penalty area by Jacob Wright, but it's going to be picked up by the goalkeeper. Yeah, you imagine this place now if Colby Bishop had tucked that ball into the net. Hat-trick against Norwich on Good Friday, missing a penalty today.
Well, even when Callum Fisher has fouled the Portsmouth lad, you knew just the energy of...
But here comes Portsmouth again, into the penalty area, towards the right-hand side. Shot comes in, it's deflected off Medic, who then gives a roar of approval, but it's got to keep switched on because it hasn't gone out of play. Ogilvie sweeps it in from the left-hand side, headed away. So Zach Swanson chased it out towards the right-hand side for Portsmouth. Gets tackled by Schlupp. Oh, he's disappeared from view. He's gone over the advertising hoardings. He's okay. He's up on his feet. This is one of those grounds where the hoardings are so close to the pitch. You've got no run-off, have you? And Schlupp was at full pelt there. Throw-in taken. It's in the Norwich penalty area once more. Bishop, who's just missed the penalty, to the right of goal, trying to squeeze the ball across. He's won a corner for his team. Portsmouth will keep going, even having missed that penalty.
There's worrying times for Norwich because, you know, they're soaking up pressure, and there's only so much that you can do. It's really important that they try and add an attacking threat, because at the moment, all of this second half, really, other than I think one scrappy incident from a corner, Norwich City haven't created anything.
Portsmouth corner. Everybody back for Norwich. 2-0 the Canaries lead. There's the corner into a congested penalty area, headed up and across by Regan Poole. Sinach has got time to control and launch it clear from inside his own penalty area. And Schwartau chased it up the field, and he's putting Swanson under pressure. Swanson's got the pass back to his goalkeeper, Schmidt, who's closed down by Schwartau, but he's got the clearance high up the field. Medic wins the header. Jacob Wright needs to make this his on halfway against Swift, and does, and then it's helped on by Sinach to Kvachovic, who's gone down again. Kvachovic with no foul given. Played out to the right-hand side by Portsmouth. Here they come again, still trying to set up a grandstand finish to the game. Cutting in from the right-hand side here is Segacic. Laid off to Swift, challenge from Sinach, foul by Sinach. Norwich just can't take the pressure off, can they? They've given away another set piece inside their own half. Swift has taken it already to Segacic, lines up a shot from the edge of the box. Fisher turns his back on it and blocks it. Portsmouth come again.
Yeah, Norwich are seeing opportunities to try and nick it, but they're just not quite getting there, and it's counting against Norwich at the moment.
High ball into the Norwich penalty area. Kovacic takes the catch. What a game. Last time Portsmouth played Norwich, it finished 5-3 at Carrow Road, and we've got a 5-3 in the Championship this afternoon. Coventry are 5-3 up at Derby. Here, just the 2 goals, 2-0 between Portsmouth and Norwich City. Norwich in front, and West Brom are 3-1 up at Wrexham as well in the Championship. Norwich's next game, Middlesbrough at home next Saturday. Will they go into that off the back of successive away wins? They're on their way. Still 7 minutes left of this one. 2-0 Norwich lead. Portsmouth having missed that penalty, or at least Kvachovic saving the penalty. That's what it was. They've not given it up. Here they are on the right-hand side again. Segacic starting to cause a few problems from that position. Cutting in for Portsmouth here. Plays it into the penalty area. Waddingham back to goal. Turns, shoots. Blocked by Wright. Cleared away by Norwich City. But they're caught with so many players back. There's no out ball. Ogilvie on the left-hand side. Bianchini, who won the penalty a moment ago, lays it off here for Segacic to shoot low, and that's gone into the net! And we are going to get the grandstand finish. Segacic picking it up 25 yards out, arrowing it into the bottom corner of the net. And Portsmouth, despite having a penalty saved, are not done. It's Portsmouth 1, Norwich 2 with 6 minutes to play.
Well, it just wasn't closed down quick enough. The ball's set for him, he's addressed it on his left foot, and he's drilled it, and the pace of the ball has just taken it into the back of the net, and You can tell just by the energy from the fans now that Portsmouth think, hang on a minute, we're still in this game.
Well, that's what Norwich needed to avoid, and we thought they had once the penalty was saved, that we wouldn't get this big finish and the very vocal Fratton Park crowd being on it. But now we've got a big 5 minutes ahead. It's a real test for these Norwich players. Sargent scored in his debut, having joined from Sydney FC in the summer. He scored against Oxford last week, and he scored again here. Great finish it was. Long kick from Portsmouth, testing out the Norwich defence. Darling clears. Plenty to talk about as ever on Canary Call. And the Canary Call watch along as well. Join in with us on BBC Radio Norfolk and on the website bbc.co.uk/Norfolk. Here come Portsmouth again. Roared on by the home supporters. Sinat's back defending. It's with Swift just inside the Norwich half. Everyone in the yellow shirt back behind the ball. Ogilvie on the left-hand side has possession. He's got Bianchini in front of him. Bianchini's level with the penalty area. Digs out a curling cross towards the far post beyond everybody. And behind it goes. 2-1 to Portsmouth.
Well, what's worrying for me, and I'm sure it'll be really, really worrying for Liam Manning, is that since the goal, we're going 2-0 up, they haven't really controlled the game. And they've allowed Portsmouth to dictate everything. And at the moment, it's worrying times for Norwich. I think Portsmouth potentially could score again, and those 3 points are out the window. And, they've got away with it with the penalty save. Let's hope they can, really, really defend really, really well for the last 5 minutes and keep this Portsmouth team out.
Schlupp floats one forward. Chris Gorin will chase it and will put Regan Poole under pressure. Poole's header away. Jacob Wright. Bouncing ball. Put up there from Jacob Wright. Yeah, clear. It's a free kick to Portsmouth just inside their own half. I was going to say one of the criticisms of the Millwall game in the opening day was that Norwich struggled to create chances. And today the 2 goals have both come from set pieces. They've not created an awful lot, Norwich City. Here's Bianchini on the left-hand side. Testing Fisher, who dives in and makes the challenge. Good challenge it is as well. Throw in Portsmouth. Ogilvie takes it quickly. He's got it into the Norwich penalty area. Bishop with his back to goal. Turns it across. Oh, there's a glorious chance here. Waddingham can't score. The clearance though falls for Swift. In the D. Tries to tee up a teammate. Sargent, who scored a few moments ago. Twisting, turning, on the edge of the Norwich penalty area. He's got Stoppage for company. He's put the ball in the box. Oh, and Kvachovic comes and punches it away and collides with Bianchini. I think the referee's given Norwich a free kick there as Kvachovic hits the deck.
I think the goalkeeper's done well there. I think he could have easily pulled out of it, and the Portsmouth players stick the ball in the net. But Sargent is causing all sorts of problems. He's drifted out onto that right-hand side, and he's obviously naturally left-footed. He keeps cutting in and causing Norwich City some real troubles, and they're going to have to keep him quiet if they're going to win this game.
And the suspicion, of course, with Norwich 2-1 up and 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go, is that Kvachovic is making the most of this and being down injured. And I hope that is the case, because if Kvachovic is injured here and can't carry on, Norwich have made all their substitutions. So I hope he gets up in a minute.
Yeah,
he's been a big player for Norwich today. He saved a penalty. He made a glorious save from point-blank range from Poole in the first half as well. But he's still down here, the Norwich goalkeeper.
I think they'll always milk it a little bit. It certainly doesn't look in a good state, to be honest. But there's the games, the gamesmanship of staying down a little bit longer than needed. But it certainly doesn't look comfortable to me.
Well, I can see the physio in conversation over the radio system with the Norwich bench. I'm looking at Tony Roberts, who's visible there, the goalkeeping coach. He's not. He's just been told something by the physio, and there's no sign that they're getting the spare goalkeeper jersey or the gloves on for anybody else. So he's now sitting up, this Kvachovic, but treatment goes on. This is only going to add to the agony, Che. We're going to get a huge portion of stoppage time at the end of this game.
We are. I think it could play in Norwich City's hands, though. But Portsmouth have got their tails up. They've got the momentum. Maybe this is just going to kill it a little bit for them. Take a bit of the pace of the game. I saw Jacob Wright a minute ago just saying, calm down, guys, and I think that's what's needed. You need to relax, and I know it's difficult when the opposition are causing you problems, but try and relax on the ball. They're giving the ball away sloppy too much, and really allowing Portsmouth back into the game. Still
down, Kvachovic, still getting treatment. And gives a chance to reflect on what we've seen. Norwich 2-0 up since the 15th minute, then Portsmouth have hit back with 6 minutes to go for 2-1. And I think it's one of those where Liam Manning will look at a performance which there have been signs of encouragement, as clinical as Norwich were in the early skirmishes, but there's still a lot of work to be done, isn't there? I think that's clear.
I think there sure is. I mean, obviously the 2 set pieces have really been fortuitous for Norwich today. Haven't really created too many other chances than that I can recall, and they want to dictate games. You know, they really want to be the dominant force in every game they enter. And today, you wouldn't say that Portsmouth deserve to lose really, because Portsmouth had a lot of possession without causing too many clear-cut opportunities, but they certainly have their tails up now, and it's going to be a real interesting 5 minutes.
Well, he's all right, Kvachovic, at least he's fit enough to play on and clear that ball away. We've got 30 seconds plus, I imagine, a lot of stoppage time. Norwich are 2-1 up at Fratton Park. Can they see it out from here? Kellen Fisher caught by Bianchini on halfway. It's a Norwich free kick. It's the sort of composed play that we've not seen a lot of from Norwich this season. Player putting his foot on the ball, keeping it behind the free kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to be composed and patient, but you still need to pick those right passes in the right areas, because if you overplay it, it invites pressure.
Medic floats the free kick forward, and that one's going to disappear behind. 10 minutes of time added on. Listen to the reaction. 10 minutes of stoppage time.
Well, I think the Portsmouth fans really, sense that they're getting back into this game, and they think they can get a point at least out of this game today.
Hold on, everybody. This is going to be a 100-minute game. Norwich are 2-1 up. We are into stoppage time. It's launched long. Fiskaren challenges for it and does well to get it down into the path of Schwartau on the right-hand side. Here's Kellen Fisher, goes down. No foul. Wright wins it back. Finds Fisher. Wright gets it back again. Finds Sienats in the penalty area here for Norwich City. Sienats trying to wriggle and shoots, and he's dragged the shot wide. It's the first shot, though, Norwich have had for quite some time in the game.
I can't recall another one at the moment, to be honest, but it's come in. Sienats has collected the ball on the right-hand side and has cut in. And usually the obvious choice is to go to the far corner, but sometimes you catch the goalkeeper unaware by just cutting it into the near post, and he almost did it just then. Just went harmlessly wide in the end.
So that's a minute of the stoppage time negotiated. Norwich leading 2-1 at Fratton Park against Portsmouth, but this one is far from done. Loose header there from Colby Bishop. It's going to run away for a throw-in to Norwich City. John Mousinho, the Portsmouth manager, is acting as ball boy now as well to go and get it, because he knows that even with all that stoppage time, it all matters, it all counts. And Norwich will do their best to use as much of it up as possible.
Sorry, Chris. Norwich just need to manage the game now, pick the right passes at the right times, and, if you have to waste time, you waste time. They're in the dominant position, and Portsmouth have to come out and get another goal, otherwise they're going to walk away with no points today.
Great header on from Chris Garen, and then he's picked it up after Sienats illustrated some good hold-up play, and now Chris Garen's just holding it by the corner flag, finds Schwartau. Fisher behind him, infield to Jacob Wright. Norwich enjoying a bit of composed possession, which we haven't said that often in the second half. Swanson with a tester there, clearing for Portsmouth. Jacob Wright heads it down to Schlupp, back to Cordoba. Norwich playing the ball inside the Portsmouth half, which they've not done much of in this second half. They have now gone back to goalkeeper Kvachovic, though. Kvachovic passes it to Medic, back again to Kvachovic. It will go long. After Regan Poole, the defender, to head clear for Portsmouth. Chopped forward by Swift. Fisher beaten in the air by Bianchini. It's going to run into the Norwich right back position, and I think it's going to run away for a Norwich throw in, and it does. Liam Manning screaming at his goalkeeper there, saying don't thump the ball down the middle of the pitch, aim for the channels. And his fingers are pointing in the two corners of the pitch.
Yeah, the ball went centrally, and I don't think Sienats read it, and the centre-half's had a free header, and then Portsmouth have almost caused Norwich problems, so just stick it in the corners. I know there's a lot of time to play, but you just have to manage the game now.
Medic's clearance. Fiskaren does well to get better of two Portsmouth defenders, but Norwich can't control the ball. They can now with Jacob Wright, who does well to find Fiskaren. Gets away from the Dane note, and it's gone back to the Portsmouth goalkeeper Schmidt. He will go long. He will aim for the channel on this left-hand side. Bishop heads it down. Bianchini, edge of the box. Great challenge from Stoppage. Did really well and squeezes the ball away as well. It came from a Portsmouth player, so Shaughnessy has to get there, and in doing so, he puts the ball out for a throw-in. So Norwich have 10 minutes of stoppage time was signalled, much to the joyous anticipation of the Portsmouth fans. We've had 3.5 minutes of that, and there have been no further goals. Portsmouth 1, Norwich 2. BBC Radio Norfolk. We've got Kings Lynn trip to Hereford live for you from 3 in the National North. We've got Canary Call after this one. What have you learnt about Norwich today? What do you think Liam Manning still needs to work on with a full week on the training pitch coming up? Great play from Wright, deep inside his own half. And he did so well, but it doesn't matter because there was actually a Portsmouth offside earlier on. But he did well to pivot away from his man. Actually, since the 10 minutes have gone up for stoppage time, Norwich have suddenly found a bit of composure, haven't they? Which has been lacking in this half.
Yeah, they just need to calm down a little bit, and it's it's going to show what they're made of, really. That Portsmouth have got a little bit of momentum. Can they see games out like this? And they're going to see other games during the season that that they might be leading, and they've got to fight for the last 10, 15 minutes and really show their mettle and grind out a result rather than just play pretty football all the time.
Kvachovic, who saved a penalty as well when it was 2-0, plays the ball forward. A clearance from Portsmouth falls to Stoppage, 30 yards from goal, but just wants to keep possession. Make sure that Norwich can try and take any sting out of the game. It's gone wide to Schlupp. Schlupp trying to turn against Swanson. Can't get away from him. He's overrun it. Throw in, which Portsmouth have taken quickly, and they've released the goal scorer Sargent on the right back. Harry Darling comes across, shuts the door, out it goes, throw in. That's just about 5 minutes of stoppage time negotiated by Norwich, but there's still 5 more to come.
I think two of the three centre halves have done really, really well today. Medic and Harry Darling have done really well and defended quite astutely.
And there's a Medic clearance launched up in the air. Where does it land? It comes off a Portsmouth player. Ogilvie puts the ball back towards the Norwich penalty area. Fisher clears. Norwich are 2-1 up. Deep into stoppage time. Schlupp's clearance lands on halfway. This is where Sienats has to put Portsmouth under pressure. He does really well to win it against Regan Poole as well, and then carries the ball forward. Surely he was fouled there, Sienats. Referee plays advantage, and Sienats takes a wild shot, and it goes wide. He would have been better to settle for the free kick there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He was obviously fouled, and he was just stumbling when he struck the ball, and it's frustrating that the referees, in normal circumstances, you go, yeah, play advantage, but Norwich City have not really got any advantage out of that situation at all.
Medic with the loose header at the back. Bianchini picks it up for Portsmouth, level with the penalty area. Ogilvie crosses high from the left. Goalkeeper's come off his line for Norwich City. He's got a punch on the ball. It's gone out of the penalty area. Picked up though by Swanson on the right hand side. Sargent in front of him. Digs out a cross. Oh, it's come off a Norwich player and gone behind. The Roar will tell you that we have a Portsmouth corner. Norwich are going to be tested right to the end here. Still 4 minutes of stoppage time to go. Portsmouth 1, Norwich 2.
I think Portsmouth are going to put as many balls into the box as they possibly can, and obviously this is going to test Norwich City's defensive abilities right now.
Gazzelle's corner, right hand side for Portsmouth, curling into the Norwich penalty area now, and it's fallen for Ogilvie in the box. He's gone down, no penalty. In fact, he's going to be booked for diving. Schwartau, I think it was. Ogilvie tried to shift the ball, I thought, to get the shot away. Went down, and the referee had a really clear view of it. There aren't too many complaints from the Portsmouth players. There are from the Portsmouth fans, but I've got to say, the way Ogilvie went down there, I think everybody was looking at the referee. I was almost expecting the whistle to go to the lips and a penalty there. It would be fascinating to see that again. Has he got that one right? Booking Conor Ogilvie. There's no great outcry from the Portsmouth players, which usually tells you a story.
Usually paints the picture, doesn't it? I mean, as soon as it happened, I couldn't really see any contact, and I looked at the referee and he started to put his whistle to his lips, and I actually thought, he's going to give a penalty here. Obviously, then he knew he's taken a dive, and he's got blown up and given it Norwich's way.
There's clearly a replay has just been shown over on the far side of the press box, because all the journalists around us were leaning over trying to see it. We haven't seen a replay yet. Harry Darling caught under the ball. Here comes Bianchini away. Rugby tackle down there by Harry Darling. That is a foul, and that is going to be a yellow card for the Norwich City stand-in skipper Harry Darling, who takes one for the team there because Bianchini was about to get away from him.
He was, and I mean, it wasn't very elegant from Harry Darling, but you could tell that he was just going to get away from him. He was almost rugby tackled him, pulled him back, and it's a blatant yellow card.
Those years at Swansea weren't wasted in rugby territory. Still got 2 minutes of the stoppage time to go. Can Norwich hang on? That's what's happening. We've got a free kick to Portsmouth. Sargent is going to take it just outside the corner of the penalty area. Che Wilson's just had a chance to see that dive from Ogilvie, and I'll get him to give you his verdict in a moment, but I'm just going to watch what's happening on the pitch, which is a free kick which Sargent delivers into the penalty area, headed away. It's going to fall for Swift on the edge of the box. He's hit the bar. Cracking effort from John Swift. Goalkeeper just watched it crack back off the crossbar. Down goes Schwartau. Norwich free kick. Norwich are hanging on for dear life to this 2-1 lead. Swift's just hit the bar. Heart was in the mouth there. Heart was in the mouth a moment ago when Ogilvie went down. Was it a dive?
I'm seeing it again.
Like
the monitor's not the biggest monitor in the world. I actually think it might be a penalty.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was Callum Fisher who's turned his back and he's dangled a leg in there, and I think there might be contact. I mean, he's made a meal of it, but I've seen referees given them, and I think Norwich City might have got away with one there.
Well, you say got away with one. In the last 15 minutes of this game, Swift's hit the bar. Portsmouth have scored. Kvachovic just had to save a penalty. This is a wafer thin 2-1 lead, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been one for the adrenaline. It certainly has. It's been an exciting game, even though there's not been, loads and loads of quality. It's been an exciting championship, early season game, and it's been thoroughly enjoyable. Obviously, it'd be more enjoyable if Norwich City get back on the road with 3 points, but there's a few minutes still to play.
Yeah, we'll hopefully reflect on 3 points in a moment, but still a bit of football left in this. We are now in the 10th minute of stoppage time. 10 was signalled. Portsmouth have a throw inside their own half. Long throw in. Headed on. Darling being put under pressure by Bishop. Darling gets there. They clash. The ball goes out of play. Throw in to Portsmouth. Level with the Norwich penalty right up by the corner flag. They've perhaps got one more chance to put the ball into the Norwich box in search of an equaliser that I'm sure the home fans and John Messina will feel they deserve. What an effort from Swift to hit the bar a moment ago. Long throw into the Norwich box. There's chaos in the penalty area and the shot goes wide from Waddingham, but it got a deflection and it is a corner. And this will decide the game, I think, what happens from this corner. The goalkeeper's going up.
Oh wow, early doors in the season and the goalkeeper's going up. But John Mazzini's obviously gone, well, actually we've got nothing to lose. Yeah. So might as well go for it.
In the 11th minute of stoppage time, goalkeeper Nicholas Schmidt is in the Norwich penalty area. Dazell's corner played into the box, great header away, but it's going to fall for Swift. He's just hit the bar from this sort of position. This time though, he plays the ball out to the wing. It's offside. The flag's gone up for offside, and that will bring an abrupt end to that attack and the game. And Norwich City have won away from home in the Championship for the first time under Liam Manning. And there are hugs for the Norwich goalkeeper Kvachovic. All the defenders are gathered. They're embracing each other. They've really had to roll the sleeves up and dig in there to win that game. Norwich City, the most important thing, have got the game won, but my goodness, they made the 1,900 Norwich fans sweat for that at the end. Norwich 2-0 up after 15 minutes. By the end, though, they were hanging on because Kvachovic saved a penalty, then Portsmouth got one back, then there was another huge penalty appeal when Ogilvie went down and was booked for diving. John Swift hit the bar, and right up to the final second of the game, the Norwich penalty box was under heavy bombardment from Portsmouth. But somehow, they've hung on and they've seen it out, Jay Wilson.